Man, sit your dumb ass down.
You ain't black.
This is a sick Negro.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to let this notification go off for too long today. It's only going to be about 5 minutes, and then we get this thing cranked up, ladies and gentlemen. But we're talking cryptocurrency today. We got to switch it up a touch, y'all. You know, following the, of course, all of the trendy, headlines and all of the drama. That's fly shit. But again, I've said before with our brother Jersey General coming in the last time, there's opportunity zones that we can take advantage of, family. And at the bare minimum, I believe it is our duty on this side to bring additional value. You do what you want with it. So we are going to be live in a little less than 5 minutes with my brother Dev, a.k.a. Coke Sharpton, tapping in to kind of wake this up. Is cryptocurrency a scam? Is it really a jokes? Is it something worth putting your money in? We got to have a conversation live in 5. Salute to everybody that's checked in with your wad.
Yeah. It's entertainment. Harlem World. I'm the legend.
You ain't black.
How you? I am that dude. You are so cute. Always lit. We knew. Talk to me. Hey, ma. How you? I am that dude. You are so cute. Always lit. We knew. Talk to me. Pulled up to the club. I'm talking at La Marina. My cousin Chucky Black is wavy. He in the Beamer. Mommy looking good. She see me. She with the peoples. And this is how entertainment. We moving like we the Beatles. I'm from Harlem. My ego is very lethal. This lady looked amazed. I'm talking to her people. Speaking all the system like a pimp to a Mac. I'm too successful to lie. I'm speaking nothing but facts. Your booty is fat, but tell me, did you guzzle? Can't f with stupid if your grind is on the struggle. Yeah, I know you love a fly that takes a stand. And I don't grustle for likes, it's word to Instagram. I'm in the tropics, beaches of Martinique. I really get to a bag, I practice on what I preach. Life is really a beach, I'ma have it my way. I own the sand and the beach, cause I'm really that way. Hey ma, how you? I am that dude.
Scared to death Negroes are my enemy.
Talk to me.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be live in a little less than 3 minutes. Salute to everybody, man. Listen, if you believe somebody can benefit and are trying to look for a different way to get to what I would consider a sustainable bag, man, make sure you share this broadcast out. Cryptocurrency. Kamala Harris backed it. And we know, family, Kamala Harris backed this thing. And you know what type of bullshit she was on. All right? Kamala Harris backed this thing. Can we even trust cryptocurrency? We had a conversation in a little less than 2 minutes. Salute to everybody that's checked in with your boy. We are live in a little less than 2.
Deion D. Jenkins for president. We don't need to study reparations. I have a reparations package that has 30 revelations. It's called DMLG, Defense Money Land Grants with Steady Calculations. Let's break it down. Hope you got some crack the industry type patient, cause I'm about to break it down with an immaculate type cadence. You were lied to. That paper dollar that could buy you won't stand by you. They say money can't buy virtue, but it sure buys value. Until you try to buy an avenue, you find out money like idol. Cause some things have more power than money, cause money gets taken by power. But wherever there's power, there's money. There are 4 elements to every society, so the only medicine to this is to take over society. The first element is defensive structure, just abide with me, cause I'm a candidate that's black agenda priority, yeah. There's a famous saying, the flow of currency is controlled by military bullet spraying, and law enforcement keeps everybody fully obeying, while the judicial system is a bully and keeps everybody paying. The second element is capital. You can only control this at the capital. The flow of currency is bankable, showing who's acceptable. Monopoly should be unacceptable because it's not liberty applicable. This next element is amazing. If you ever took a road trip, you would see livestock grazing, tractors harvesting the fruit. The sun even brings value to the raisin. You see infrastructure on any occasion, no matter if skyscrapers or paving, or acres of yellow wheat driving for miles and glazing. Every group must have somewhere to reside and eat. Nobody has control without pavement. We even kill each other for the streets we don't even own, just claiming. So land is the next one. Show me a people without any land, they're homeless at best, son. We were already promised 40 acres but gets none. A landmass larger than Texas. If they gave 40 acres to each one, they took so much land from us, but they gonna give it back just like Myrtle's Beach, huh? Not without murder, a grave, ditch, and a gun. The lack of resources would turn a bitch out of a nun and bring Lucifer to the mountain to tempt the Lord out of a son. And finally, we're at the last one. The last one will be grants. The last element is having access to finance. Without access to capital, you don't have a chance. What's the point of living in the world's richest country eating out of some cans and X'd out $1 billion plans? So I just define reparations with $30 trillion down payment demands. Reparations.
Scared to death Negroes are my enemy.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready to get into this thing. There will be one course only today. No appetizers. Just get right into this and hopefully provide some information so that you can make your own decisions, ladies and gentlemen. However, I personally would like to say that there is a bag for you. Let's get into this thing and do what we do, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to everybody that's checked in with your boy.
You just step in there next.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
He was the chef up north.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to everybody that's checked in with your boy. If you're here for the first time, but you're not here for a long time, I am your host, Chef C from New Jersey. This is On Their Next Podcast, brought to you by Bloodline Films, From the Soil, Black American docuseries where we travel all around the country, highlighting the Black American grassroots advocates, culture, and cuisine in pursuit of reparative justice. And your brunch service will be served up out of the community kitchen, family. We get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Cryptocurrency. Is there a real legitimate bag there? Or is it still more of a scam? We hear so much about these licks that folks are taking, and particularly some of the L's. But you don't hear enough from folks who have made some really good advancements and have taken advantage of cryptocurrency. We're going to have a conversation. This will be the first of your introduction here, ladies and gentlemen. What is crypto? How can you benefit? And how can you take advantage of it going into the next administration? What does that mean for you? We had a conversation when we get back. I want to salute everybody that's checked in with your boy, and we'll be right back after this brief commercial. Salute to everybody for checking in.
One love, y'all. God bless y'all. Black Americans all over the country, baby.
They say don't wait. When that shit get crazy, leave, give up that date. But if I had to cease my love, 1,000 seas I drown to stay. Cause when it gets hard, it's never even close to what I've suffered. Till you came into my life and brought some peace, removed the clutter, reconstructed trust, my heart you clutched, focused, and you aim, pulled the trigger on a life with you that nobody could graze. I could see with you in darkness, making moves and power plays, in the shadows of the sunlight, ultraviolet super rays.
See, I can look at other people's creations, but I can also see the reflection of my people when I see these creations.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to everybody that's checked in. A little early Sunday brunch for y'all, family. A little early Sunday brunch. I got my brother DevPunks, a.k.a. Coke Sharpton, checking in today. And we hope to provide value, as I normally do here on the broadcast with the brothers. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency. So many people have come out and said, listen, yo, I got juxed. This is a scam. Ain't no real money to be made, blah, 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 blah. And that could, listen, I'm not going to downplay it. That could be the reality for some folks. However, on the other end, I want to make it very clear. There are plenty of folks who are making a substantial living off this, what I call an opportunity zone. But folks are out here saying that, hey, this is probably one of the biggest scams of the 21st century. So we wake that up a little bit and we break it down. You know, why can it work for you? Why should you even get into it or even consider this thing? But before we get to that, y'all, listen, let me go ahead and get into some of my advertisements first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? All right. Now, if you need to get your drippity drip, all right, go to FromTheSoil.tv, ladies and gentlemen, FromTheSoil.tv, the put on section. Get your Black American Heritage Flag Converses. Very fly, very drippy, extra limited editions, but you want to be sliding with those. So, FromTheSoil.tv. Also, what you can do while you're there, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and slide and get your Black American Heritage Flag apron. Very fly, very drippy. You know, as you can see on some of our brothers, our brother Nico here, our brother Pops sliding with theirs. They cooking up, doing what they got to do. Salute to these brothers right here. You know, so go over FromTheSoil.tv, put on section, get your Black American Heritage Flag apron so you are spinning the block and cooking up. But if you can't really spin the block like that, right? Your skills ain't really up to par. Chef C got you covered. Patreon.com/Cooking with Chef C. I got you covered. Recipes, the whole 9 yards, all the fly shit, and even some newer techniques to get y'all spinning the block in the way that you deem necessary. Okay? So go over there, become a member, and we will get it cooked up over on the Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to everybody. Now, let's get into this thing, y'all. Cryptocurrency. I told you, listen, so again, for a guy like me, you know, I am big in trying different ways to make a little bit of change, right? Some folks have been very successful in making this their number one source of income, okay? Others have said, listen, I tried the Bitcoin. I tried cryptocurrency in general. I don't really get it. I don't understand it. This shit is a joke. I tried it. They took my money. I never got it back. Just like you hear similar people say, they've tried the stock market and they lost big. You know, we had our brother Jersey General on here a couple weeks ago breaking down at least the introductory part of the stock market, that opportunity zone as well. And we will have him back on for part 2. Well, I want to give you an introductory to this as well, because again, we got the incoming administration. Although we're seeing all types of drones and bullshit pop off, family, uh, if we make it through this thing, we're still gonna have to buy supplies. This is a way to get it done. So I got my brother Coke Sharpton in here, man. Brother Coke, how you living, sir? How you moving and grooving this afternoon, sir?
Doing all right, Chef. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, so I got the brother Coke Sharpton, aka DevPunks, in here, and he doesn't even call himself no super expert. As I mentioned on other broadcasts, we don't sell no courses here. Folks are just looking to give information that they've been did pretty well for themselves with, okay? And this young brother right here, I stepped away from crypto a little bit, and this brother brought me back to it. Even though I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, I personally have made close to 40,000 with crypto. That's zero cap. So, I am glad that the brother tapped me on my shoulder and said, "Man, get back in the game," because it is money to be made. I just kind of walked away from it. No other reason other than that. I just kind of walked away. So I'm back now. And Trump got in office, y'all, and it looked crazy. So we can expect a lot of this to happen. Just like the stock market went up, crypto going up, and some of the activity is kind of similar, family, as far as the boosting and jumping, especially during these different incoming administrations. It kind of reflects one another. When I say reflect, I'm alluding to the stock market and cryptocurrency having similar bumps and activity take place. So brother Dev, man, let's have a conversation here, man. Why even consider cryptocurrency, sir? I mean, again, I'm hearing so many horror stories about it. I got my own per se glory story about it, but why should anyone even consider it, man?
Well, I'd actually go off of the inverse. Why not? Because I'm sure it's a lot easier to pick on. When I say why not just even you in specific, and then to the people who are in the chat as well too. We try to be as objective as possible with it. Nobody's selling any wolf tickets over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just having a nice conversation amongst people sitting around the fireside chat, if you want to call it that. But I like to go off of the why not, because that's what you'll hear that more than the why. Because what you'll see is that when you ask the why not, you're going to see that my answer is going to be the same no matter what the question is. So what are some of the why nots that you heard in your career?
Well, why not get into crypto is because I'm hearing more so people adopting tragic stories from things they never even experienced personally. Oh, my friend got hit up and he lost all his money, or she lost all her money in crypto. And that's all I hear. So I'm like, listen, have you even, sometimes I don't even get involved with folks because I don't have the patience like that. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I don't have the patience to break it down for folks, and they're living vicariously. Well, they're living tragically through someone else's eyes and not having done it themselves. Or even if they had some L's through crypto, did they even evaluate that process? Like what got them to the losing specter of cryptocurrency?
Right. So then let's wake that up. Now the next why would someone even lose something like crypto or something that they would consider valuable?
Right.
What are the ways that someone would lose something? I'd actually throw in there, somebody might say, I got my crypto taken from me. That's an experience that I've had. That's one thing I learned, actually. I learned that with blood is thicker than water, but green paper is thicker than blood in some instances.
Right.
You know, I can go off of a personal experience myself, to whereas I had a loved one myself who, you know, she got into crypto probably when it was $400. I want to say this is 2018, 2017. She got into crypto when it was, you know, about $400, maybe $400. And I remember her telling me, she said that I'm going to do a backflip the minute that one Bitcoin is worth $700. $700 because it was at $400 at that time. And we were actually taking I had a group of friends. We were actually taking trips around the different parts of the world, just basically going around. I've been in many countries just trying to figure out, does crypto and cryptocurrency work in this country, in that country. And on that trip, one of the trips that we went on, she actually died. She was in Phuket. She was in Thailand. She rented the last message I got from her was she was in a Jeep. She had rented a Jeep. It was a hot pink Jeep. She was in Phuket and said, "I'm going to Bangkok." Just in Thailand. That was the last that I heard from her. And then so to let the newspapers in Thailand tell it, she flipped off a bridge, hit the hidden light embankment, and died on the spot. Jeep landed on her. And now the next part of that is within a matter of 2 weeks, that's when I experienced and realized that not your keys, not your crypto, because she had a girlfriend that she had given her passphrase to get access to the wallet just as a security feature, because in crypto, you're your own security as well. She gave it to a loved one, quote unquote, to pass along because she thinks she'd have security. Now, I haven't even talked to the best friend since she passed away as well. And she ran off with her dead girlfriend's Bitcoin. And that's when I learned a valuable lesson. When someone else has access to my keys, they have access to whatever I consider valuable that those keys are for. And I'm not talking about crypto. We're just talking real world, real life right now. So that's a reason I put on the table why not to get involved in crypto, because a lot of people aren't responsible enough to not lose their keys, me included.
Now, I like that, brother Dev, aka Coke Sharpton, because here's what we want to also make sense that, and we'll get to that. I don't want to go too far, but the way keys are quote unquote set up in this particular realm, ladies and gentlemen, it can be paper, per se, right? And
that's true.
We don't want to go too far just yet, brother Coke. What if you could sum it up? What is cryptocurrency, sir?
Well, you'll see on this call there'll be a lot of pushback. I'm not a fan of answering a question with a question. Let's get that straight. But I am a fan of there must be things that people have to know before they can even ask certain things. But you don't know what you don't know. You get what I'm saying? So it's all on how you do the pushback. And my first pushback would be what is money? Because every single person on this planet, I would say, has a different definition, but they might think that they have the same definition everybody else does.
All right, wake that up. Yes, sir. Wake that up.
Because the reason why I want to ask what is money, because crypto is not money, but many people think crypto is money.
Come on.
So what is money from your perspective? What is money to you?
The only way I look at money is as a tool. That's the only thing. And I guess, I'll simplify it. If I don't have this tool, I can't fix my expense. I can't take care of things. That's what I mean. So when I look at money, it's a way of taking care of things, or buying more things, acquiring things. It's a verb in my eyes. It's an actionable situation.
I like that. I like that breakdown of what money is. I typically like to say it's people's energy.
Right.
Now, because we often equate money, price, and value as one and the same. A wise person once told me that when I really started understanding money, because that's what I had to realize, is that a lot of people want money but don't often understand money, including myself. We all have to come with learn. We just know it's this thing we can get stuff with. But a lot of times we don't really know what's behind it, what's driving it. What is it? Technically speaking, it's just green paper in the United States of America.
Agreed.
So now you start delineating on the difference between price and value, right? So the way that I broke this down to my ex-girlfriend, actually, when I was telling her about cryptocurrency, I haven't talked to her in months, maybe even a year or two, still on good terms. However, I feel good in the fact that maybe I was put in her life just to teach her about crypto, because she's heavily involved in it now. And so when I broke down to her the difference between price and value, I said, look at that Louis purse you have right there, right? Look at that purse you have. What's the value of that purse? And she said, probably a couple $1,000s. And I sat back and I was like, wow, anybody spend a couple $1,000 on a purse, maybe. I don't know what be in these purses, but I don't need to know. But I actually told her she was wrong. And she said, I got the receipt still. That's the price. That's what it cost me. And I said, that's the price of the purse. What's the value of the purse?
Correct, sir. Correct.
And because the value of the purse is it holds your stuff. The value of a pair of shoes is it's supposed to stop your feet from getting messed up on the concrete. The value of a bottle of water is it's supposed to quench your thirst. But that bottle of water is going to cost different in a dollar store than it will at Yankee Stadium. Why is that, Chef?
Well, because you got to cover the cost for you to acquire it, sir, and then resell it.
Mm-hmm. So you agree price and value actually they're coupled together, but they aren't the same thing.
Well, the seller determines the price. The value is determined off the creator.
I disagree. I think the seller and the buyer both agree on a price.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to you and if you're selling a car right now and I go to buy it from you, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the price that I pay for it, right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with other elements outside of that, sir. But I listen, we getting too deep. Let's bring it. How do you bring it back to cryptocurrency, sir?
Right now, because we are talking about crypto, because what you'll start seeing is crypto just overlaps to what things that we're already doing. You see, what we just discussed just now is the concept of what an exchange is. Because these days, the common person can only get crypto off of an exchange. They can only buy and sell and trade things off of exchanges. People hear exchanges, they start thinking about Charles Schwab and JP Morgan and all of this stuff. In exchanges, just when you have a buyer and a seller in the same room and they come to an agreement and value is exchanged, nothing more. That's an exchange. Now, what regulation needs to be, the minute you start adding cash as one of those things that's exchanged, now you got the SEC on your butt. Now you need regulation. And I think for good reason too, because still to this day, people will hose you over cash. Now, speaking of that cash, what's that money backed by? What would you say money is backed by? Because it has to be backed by something. If it's to store value so you can buy things with it, what's it backed by then?
What is it backed by?
It used to be backed by gold back in the day. So I hear Nixon, back in the night, 100 years ago, used to be able to hold on to your own gold nuggets. And then the government came in and knocked on everyone's door and said, it's illegal for you to hold gold nuggets now. Correct. So and then President Nixon came along and removed that gold standard from backing the US dollar. This is very important. The reason why this is important is, really have to understand what this thing is called money is before we start converting to and from it. It's something that really should be a topic that should be taught in schools, but it's not. And that's intentional. Even if crypto didn't exist, people still should know that value and price have nothing to do with each other. They're coupled with each other, but the value is not what the price is. The price is the thing that keeps changing on you. So if I get a loaf of bread right now, that loaf of bread should feed me, feed a family. Should, theoretically, 100 years ago, that loaf of bread was 35 cents. Today, I wouldn't buy bread that was 35 cents.
Vina says the dollar's backed by the feds.
There you go, Vina. Okay, let's wake that up, Vina. What vehicle is used for the Fed to back the dollar? And I'll go ahead and give the answer. Debt, Vina. Vina is correct. The Fed is the one that can control debt in this country. And the only thing that the dollar is backed by is debt. Some people might argue guns and bullets and military. That could arguably be true, but how far are we going to go with this? Is the United States going around the countries and just sticking them up saying you got to use my Dave and Buster's coins? Perhaps. I digress. That's what it feels like. Let's get back to this debt. Because money's created when people walk into banks and say, I'll put my name on the line for you to give me this loan, this mortgage. That's how money's made. That's how money is created in the United States of America. People putting their names on lines and saying, I'll take on this debt, and now the bank will be able to loan out even more money. This is this thing we call money. So once you got the money, now you got to secure it. What are some ways to secure cash these days, Chef?
Vaults.
Oh,
Safes,
high roller. Vaults, safes, high rollers. Nice.
No. A paper. Huh?
Right. That's true.
Hold on. Watch.
How about a wallet?
How about a floppy disk? I mean, how about a drive? Excuse me. How about
that's true. You could keep the number to an account on a drive, and it can be the only thing on that drive. Yeah. You're absolutely correct. How about a wallet?
A physical wallet or a digital wallet, sir?
We don't have to make that delineation. We're just going off of what a wallet's used for. The whole shit. A wallet, a purse. There's one right there too. My grandmama might have said underneath a mattress. Some might say buried in the back with a shovel.
Well, others would say the bra, sir.
There you go. You go. Now we're really talking. Here. So, and what we're talking about is security. See, that's all of these methods are the ways that we are actually very familiar to us and how to secure and this thing we call money. But then they start adding, as Venus said, that Fed starts coming in and starts adding things like traditional security, like safes, Brinks trucks, FDICs, mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance for anybody that's ever dealt with mortgages or anything like that. My pop broke that down to me, and he said, you stay away from those things. The mortgage insurance was an act that was enacted by the Fed, Vina, that allow someone to come and get a mortgage. And if you can't pay your mortgage, the bank still gets their money. You're paying insurance to ensure that the bank gets paid for a house, but you don't necessarily keep the house. This is the system we live in, folks. Chef, you'll get 100 people talking to you right now. Oh, you got to get the American dream, white picket fence. Go get this balloon mortgage. Go get this mortgage real. Go get this no money down low mortgage real quick. Why are we getting a mortgage? Because I can't afford the things that I actually need. But if I just put my name down on it and get this mortgage, oh man, now I'm knee deep in with the bank. But the bank's gonna do me right? FDIC will do me right? But the minute you have $251,000 worth of net what net resources. It could be in a house. You can't have that money sitting around in the bank. The bank is not going to insure you. The bank can say, I just got robbed. I don't know what happened to your money. How is that security?
Coke. I think that might have went over a couple people's head. Slow roll that back maybe 2 seconds, sir.
I will. Yeah, let's talk American dreams and white picket fences.
Yeah.
And people who don't have the money to keep up with the Joneses. And the bank stepped in, I'd say about 100 years ago or so. It's been around for longer than that. And they introduced something called fractional reserve lending. Now, what fractional reserve lending is that Chef C goes out and let's say that you do a nice soiree event and you charge as you should to get paid in cash for that event that you did. That's the exchange of see how the energy got exchanged right there, right at that moment in time. So that cash is holding on to your energy that you put into that, right? And then you go and the first thing that the average person will do, they'll go and deposit that money right into a bank, some account somewhere, right? Let's say you ain't going to lowball you. Let's say it was a New Year's soiree. Chef C event of his life to 100 racks for one dinner. Yes. And Chef takes that 100 racks and he goes to the bank and deposits it in the bank. Well, the bank at that moment in time can now loan out, I'd say it could be around $150,000, $140,000, something that way. But either way, it's a lot more than what Chef deposited into the bank. Now they can loan out that $140,000 or so. No, they probably loan out about $80,000. It's the other direction. I stand corrected. So you put in 100 into the bank, they can loan out 80 of your money. But Chef thinks that the bank has 100. They don't. They gave away 80% of what you deposited into them. This is how the banking system works today, y'all. And then we just have to get through this banking system and understand why crypto, because that's the question we're answering. Why crypto? Because a lot of people don't realize that when they deposit $100 into the bank can legally loan out 80 of your $100 of person energy, personal energy, the energy you put in to convert into that green paper. They can now take 80% of that and loan it out. And as long as everybody doesn't go to the bank and ask for their money at the same time, the game will work forever. How does that make you feel about your deposits when you go to the bank, Chef?
Oh, well, sir, this is why I only go to the bank to pay bills, sir.
That's a good move.
Yeah, everything else is other places. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at Vina in the chat. Vina says 100 now. Look at Vina. Look at what Vina's writing right now.
Well, I definitely see that. I mean, listen, we've been forced to adjust in this market. Some people are still going the old school way, but I bet you can't just go there and willy-nilly pick your money out the way you used to, because now banks are holding on to your money, are trying to hold on to your money more than you are, and they're making you wait.
Exactly. Good luck getting your 401k back out. But as long as you put in 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years into the system, you won't even have the energy to fight against them. That's just, you didn't know that when you signed that contract 30 years ago? You didn't know that? It was right in the contract. Oh, you just assume because we're a bank that we have your best interest in mind. See, that's where you went wrong. The bank has their best interest in mind.
Well, I mean,
and they might shill off a few shillings to you at the end of the year, in a little bit of interest here and there. But you might get that eaten up by the time you pay for it. Don't you have a business account or a checking account or something that you have to have a minimum amount in That's where those minimum amounts come from, y'all. You got to keep in $1,500 in your account or make X amount of transactions, or we going to charge you $15 a month, $10 a month. Because they can't, because the goal of that is to stop you from going to the bank so much to get your money out, because they're leveraging your money to lend to other people.
Correct, sir. Correct.
By the way, that does not happen on the Bitcoin blockchain. It can. There are systems that are being set up that people can leverage of what they have on the Bitcoin blockchain. But we'll get to that. We will get to that.
So are you saying so are you saying, sir, that crypto offers an alternative to the I guess barriers of withdrawal
and deposit?
Elaborate, sir.
Just because you have money, that's a great, I'm glad you stopped at that. Just because you have a pile of money doesn't mean that you can just deposit it just anywhere, willy-nilly now. As a matter of fact, if you go to a bank and you don't have an account with them and you want to deposit into someone's account that has an account with them, Chase, you can't deposit not nary penny without setting up an account with Chase first, putting a deposit in, having a minimum amount if it's a checking account. That's the point of all of this. So there's friction going in and coming out. Pause.
I like that. You know, real quick, brother Dev, aka Coke. Let me salute everybody that's in here real quick, man. I didn't do that, y'all. Pardon me. I just wanted to get into this thing, but real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do what I do here. Real quick, salute everybody that's checked in with your why. Hold on, let me get a little chef in here. Can I get a little chef in here? Let me get a little chef in here to holler at y'all.
Little chef, salute. Yeah, let me see who's in here real quick. Yeah, my Shabazz, what it look like? Salute for checking in with my Shabazz. Salute. Yes, indeed. Mike already coming through with the thumbs to the up. That's what it is. I see you. My sister Star is in the building. Salute to Sister Star for checking in with us. As usual. Yes, indeed. Who else is in here? My sister Vina, keeping it live and in check. Salute to Sister Vina for checking. Yes, indeed. All right, well, hey, cut the check. Salute to cut the check in the building, man. Salute for checking in. Is my brother in here? Ah, man, Black American Service Supplies in the building. Where's my brother at? Black American Service Supply in the building. Salute to our brother right here. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get back to this thing.
Yeah. Salute the little chef, man. Had to tap the little brother on the shoulder real quick, let him get in the building, man. But let's get back to this game here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, for those
Chef.
You know, I hope y'all up to speed. If you're not up to speed, catch the playback. But let's continue the conversation, brother Dev. You up?
Yeah. Now that we've filtered out all of the folk that was just, how do I get 1 million today? We don't want those on this call. We want the folk that want to have things in this lifetime and the lifetimes that pass them.
Well, here's what we need to get it going, right? Couple folks there's people who are doing crypto, but still don't understand what crypto is today. If we could simplify it in one sentence, what would you say that is, Brother Dev?
It's a storage of value.
Bingo. I like that. I like that. And however you determine that value, it's a safe keep per se.
It's more akin to a safe with a key than it is to cash. And now you see why it was of utter importance to delineate between price and value. Because what most people think is value, including myself, is actually the price of the thing.
Okay. Now, for a person that's just coming in and they say to themselves, listen, with many things, I don't have the money to get into this type of shit. You know, what would you say to them, if they're kind of on edge about even exploring or considering something like this? Because, I mean, again, let's be very clear, y'all. Nobody's here to sell any courses. We don't give a shit about that. We're just sharing information. And I have had some wins, and my brother Dev, a.k.a. Coach Sharp, he's had some wins when it comes to crypto. You can take it or leave it. But this young man is very versed and knowledgeable when it comes to cryptocurrency. So, again, there's a lot of people on edge about it, Brother Coke. What do you say to those folks who are, I kind of want to get in, but I still don't really understand how this thing works?
Well, I would tell them how much money do they think they've lost in their couch in the past year, and start off with that.
Right.
$10, $5, $17, $3.
What's the longevity? Like, listen, somebody will ask, what's the longevity? How long can you expect this thing to be around? All right. What do you say to somebody like that? It's like, listen, there's no certainties here. I don't believe in it. It can never work. What say you?
Well, I think before we get ahead of ourselves into the future, number one, the minute you start talking about in the future, I have to say I am not a financial advisor.
I like that.
Because anyone that knows what they're talking about will always preface with that, and also state that none of us have crystal balls. It's really about holding on and having what you already have not keep getting chipped away by things like inflation, theft, own vices. Sometimes you need to tuck away I need to tuck away these ends because I need to have enough for Christmas presents. I'm gonna blow this shit myself. I'm gonna wind up blowing this all myself. So let me go ahead and hide this over in grandma's broth.
Right.
So I know that I can protect.
TV. Yeah.
I know that I can protect my value even from myself.
Right.
So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, and now we're getting a little ahead of ourselves in the fact of the future. I want to take you a little bit on the past on to really hone in on that why crypto. So my question is, why did it exist? That was one of the first questions. Why would someone have the energy to produce or create something like cryptocurrency? There has to be a reason. Because if there's no reason, that it's not a solution. If there's no solution, then it's not there definitely isn't a problem, or there could be a problem and you don't have a solution yet. But usually people don't put forth free energy. And when I say free, I mean free as in freedom, not free as in beer.
Come on.
Okay. Free to do whatever with your time that you want to. And as we all know, you have to pay attention to what people will do for free, because that's really what they're interested in. So there's an image you have up on your screen right now. That image is a newspaper article. Okay. That's what was going on at the very moment cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, this is in 2008. What happened in 2008 when it came to money, Chef C? Do you remember anything that happened around 2008?
Oh yeah, I think more than 80% of America knows what happens or should be very familiar because you felt it in your pockets. The crash, ladies and gentlemen, the crash. one of the little great recessions they called it. Okay, so yeah, that's what happened in 2008. Shout out to Obama. Are they gonna say, "Oh, Obama wasn't the cause of it"? Okay, well, if you say so. But that's what happened, sir. The great one of the recessions, sir.
Great. That's excellent. Because that is actually what was the catalyst to start up crypto. One of the catalysts. It was one of the catalysts to start up cryptocurrency. Is there an alternative to the traditional current banking system? And the answer was not really. So a bunch of open source developers came together and said, well, why don't we just create one?
Bingo. Right.
That's the free, as in freedom, not free as in beer. See, a lot of this is actually, cryptocurrency is more akin to the internet than it is to stock market. There's a lot of things about cryptocurrency that are familiar and to ecosystems like the stock market, real estate, gold, bullion, hard metals, cash even. There's a lot of things that are very similar characteristics that cryptocurrency has that make you think that it is those things we just discussed. They're not. Crypto is more akin to investing into the internet than it is into investing into the stock market.
Right.
Okay. So cryptocurrency is a technology, and it's actually not even a new technology. Did you know that we've been the technology behind cryptocurrency, Chef C, has been around since the 1960s?
No, I didn't know, but I don't doubt it, man. I mean, for me, I look at some of the way the old computers, the old big boy computers with the extended backs used to work, and when the screen would pop up, you would see all of these different serial matrixy kind of a numbers and shit moving around.
Right. That's just computers talking to each other, similar to how we're talking and they can't understand English. So, well, they probably can now with AI. Definitely can. But yes, what you were looking at was machines communicating with each other. And in that communication, there is the concept. Sometimes you want all your communication to be, and this is a real world concept still. Sometimes you want your communication to be visible and out in the open, like this right here that we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's other times where you want to have conversations and transactions that you don't want people to know what is going on. Yes?
Correct, sir. Correct.
Mm-hmm. That's where the term crypto comes from. This actually stems back even further than the 60s and goes back to World War II. See, back in World War II, as the countries were fighting each other, they had to have a means of communicating with each other. And if you really want to talk about hiding messages, this goes back to antiquity. We're going way back in time. But the point in the process is that sometimes you need to pass and relay messages and transactions to other people, and you don't want anyone to know what's going on, and you definitely don't want a man in the middle.
Cryptic, right? So I just want to kind of make the or the familiarity, right? So we are more often when we think of cryptic messaging or subliminal messaging to some degree, right?
Yes.
It's not necessarily said out loud via transfer from one person to you. In this case, when we're talking about cryptocurrency, we're talking about the action of moving. Essentially,
that's the currency part,
right? In silence, though, quote unquote, not to a public audience per se.
Now, watch this, Chef C. You have your Googles open?
We do.
This one's
sir.
for the chat here. Can you look up the definition of the word crypto for me? And I bet you it's not going to be what people think that it is. The definition of crypto, because some people ask, what is crypto? That is even simple.
Okay, let's do that, sir. Define crypto. Let's do this here. Boom. How's that work for you? Let me zoom in here, sir. How about that? Yeah.
See, it's already taken over. You can't even get the traditional definition of crypto anymore. Let's go. There it is. We got a short for cryptocurrency, which I actually wouldn't agree with that definition. Short for cryptography, I would agree with that definition. And a person having a secret allegiance to a political creed, especially communism. See, these are the things that make people want to run away from stuff like that, right?
Right, the jacket, the fear mongering, the subliminal messaging, fear mongering.
I heard crypto was communism.
This is commie. This is commie money. Get the fuck out, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, brother.
Right. And anybody that believes that will have to realize that actually Russia is a socialist country. Be careful with socialism when you think it's communism. The actual root word crypto, I believe it's a Latin word. It's two words: to hide. That's it.
To hide.
Remember, depends on we have people of various age ranges in here. There's some point in a childhood, no matter what your generation is, where you got some toy, some puzzle, or something like that, where they gave you a cryptic message, and they gave you a device where it would say the number 4 is really the letter A. The number 7 is really the letter T.
Now, hold on.
You have any recollection of that, Chef?
Well, let me ask you, and I do, sir. I have a lot of recollection, but my question would then be to you, because I can hear a motherfucker say it right now. Oh, why you gotta hide?
I have a great. I got a great answer for that. I have a great answer for that. Why you gotta hide, right? Here's the answer right here. Why don't you leave your bank account number and details tattooed on your forehead?
Come on.
This is a sick Negro.
Yeah. See, because again, I mean, listen, I just want to say this before we continue. The best way to transfer, and here's the best part about what's happening now with crypto, ladies and gentlemen. It's becoming more acceptable as a means of transfer. What do I mean by means of transfer? Well, goods and services, okay? Goods and services. More people are now taking crypto, okay, as a means of doing business. And that only tells a person like me that, hey, you better get involved, because this is the wave, whether you believe it's some kind of special jokes and all of this or not. It's coming whether you like it or not. Not coming, it's here. What am I talking about? It's here. But you know what? But hold on, ladies and gentlemen, and then we're going to spin back, Brother Coke. Look at here. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all remember this? Let me help you out. Hold on. Let me help you out, family. Now, we're still in the same year here, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is Kamala Harris's plan for black men. Okay? The one I highlight for you intentionally. Protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe. Can you unpack that a touch for us, brother Dev?
It sounds like a government realizing that it's too late.
Come on.
And I'll tell you why. Imagine why you want to hide stuff, Chef. Imagine you and I are sitting somewhere, I don't know, on the beach at a ball game, something like that, and I owe you $5. Imagine PayPal coming in to right in between our seats, right before I'm about to hand you that five, and PayPal, Chase, Bank of America, any of those. Why you're not using your ATM? Why you don't deposit it in us first and transfer it that way? Why are you trying to hide this transaction?
Come on, cook. God damn it. Come on.
That sounds silly, doesn't it? PayPal, they stepping up, right?
Why, brother Cole? Why are you trying to keep me from getting my piece?
There you go.
Huh?
and that's why we use the term and call them rent seekers.
Yeah. Come on. All these see, salute the cryptocurrency. Because whether you believe it or not, this is an alternative path to cut out the middleman.
There it is. And now you've woken up one of the biggest things I actually love about cryptocurrency is the entire system is built on the concept of being peer-to-peer.
Come on.
When you hear the term peer-to-peer, what does that? How would you break that down?
Well, I'm gonna simply. Well, listen. Let me work. Let me cook for y'all. And check this, Dev. Check this. I go to the wholesaler purveyor. I go to the actual livestock cattle raiser. He breaks my meat down. I deal with him or her directly. And I serve it to my clientele. As opposed to me going to ShopRite, Food Basics, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, blah, blah, blah. And they package that very meat, sell it to me at their marked up price, because they got to break even first from buying from the same wholesaler that I more than likely got my food from, so that they can then repackage, sell it in their market to you for a profit. A PayPal or any entity similar, shout out to the modern day financial institutions, Bank of America, Chase, etc. They need you to put all your shit in there and then give you a 0.10 interest on the savings account that you have, while using your same stuff in the market, okay? And then telling you, hey, you want to take 10,000 randomly out? You got to wait a few hours to a couple days to get that money up out, because we're using it right now.
Now you bringing up a very great point in this conversation. Now is the fact that banks' books are not in real time.
Come on.
I'm gonna repeat what I said. Banks' books are not in real time. When's the last time you've been inside of your local bank on a Sunday?
Oh, that's a phenomenal question, sir. I would say it was probably 2008.
Right. But it was something
Actually,
that was off,
that.
though.
Hold
it
on.
was
It was longer than that. So, real quick, salute to Sister DW for checking this. Says, I sees you, Sister DW, man. Hold on real quick, Brother Dev. I got to raise the sound up for you. Salute. Yes, indeed. All right, now we can spin it back. Keep cooking, Brother Dev. Keep cooking, man.
Well, what you notice is that, salute to DW in the chat for sure. That's a rider right there.
Yes,
what you start noticing is that banks are not in real time. They do things like, we gotta close the books down at midnight, monthly. They're 30 days quarterly. We haven't checked the books yet. Do it quarterly. We'll let you know what your money made in 30 days.
Right.
Banks are not in real time, and the reason why is because they're trying to keep everything together but with string and tape and paper behind the scenes, and hopefully the papers don't burn down.
Come on.
Okay, so basically, you have all of this friction. The books aren't even never in real time. All of that, and all I want to do is just send Chef C $5.
Right. Come on.
And in some places, they'll make it illegal for me to sit next to Chef C and just slide him a $5 bill just because I owe him that $5. No, why are you trying to hide this? In a lot of countries that are dictatorships and things like that, you can't even pass along at the ballpark. No. Why are you hiding this?
Come on.
Okay. So and so when that paper you bring up right there, that's interesting, is that once again, when we go back to what's the purpose of even having cryptocurrency around, we'll get to the money, y'all. In 2008, people lost their shirts. That's in 2008. It also exposed that the banks, what they telling you that's going on behind the scenes is not what's going on behind the scenes. Why is there not that transparency with the very bank that you use?
Come on, go.
The very bank you use, you're just looking at a version of what they think money is. And every bank has their own version of what they think money is. They'll give it to you in the same representation in that US dollar bill, but Bank of America does not know about Chase's books. Chase does not know about Wells Fargo's books. So we're using a centralized monetary system called the USD, but everybody keeps all of the records in their own cupboards and closets.
I love it. You know what it is? Go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is how they're able to milk out things like the housing market.
Come on.
The housing market collapse is the reason why cryptocurrency, particularly Bitcoin, was created. It's more of not where we're going, it's where we're trying to get away from. Bitcoin was an introduction to the world of enough is enough with the banking systems.
Come on.
I'm just going over what its usage and value is, not the price of Bitcoin. We're going to get to that price. But notice we delineated between the value and the price. The value is, so let's do a brief synopsis. The value is I need to be able to store value in a format that I can easily pass to someone else without a person in between us. I need to be able to not have everyone all in my business with the transactions that I make.
Come on.
I need to be able to not have rent seekers running around taking out percentage points every time I need to Western Union some money over to a family member in another state or another country. I need to not have what I call value stored in a centralized place that needs a bailout if they fail. How do you need a bailout if I gave you the money in the first place?
Come on, goddammit. Come on. Stop playing with these niggas.
These are the reasons why cryptocurrency exists. Because you got to know why something exists before you even get involved in it, right? I would think so.
Come on.
Now, here's the one problem that we got to solve here to walking down this path. What if I don't know you, Chef, but I still owe you $5? How do you deal with a situation of peer-to-peer, but the goal is to not trust anyone?
Come on. Listen, this is how I deal with a peer-to-peer, and I don't. Well,
when you don't trust anyone, that's the next caveat. Oh yeah, that's for all of the folks out there that say I don't trust this crypto stuff. Crypto is perfect for them because I'll add something on to it. We've already established that cryptocurrency is what? A storage of value. Correct. In the story, right?
Correct.
I'll add one word to the front of that. It's a trustless store of value. That's the
Wake up the
biggest
list.
misconception.
Wake up the trust list part. We need that.
That's the biggest misconception that I had. I thought that I was going to get into crypto because it was super trustful and everything was secure, all of that. No, actually, crypto is made because it's a trustless system because you're not supposed to be trusting people you do transactions with. How do you know? How do you know the cash is real? How do you know the gold is real? How do you know the bank actually has your money? So what we do here in crypto, we use some technology that they call the blockchain. You ever heard of that term before?
Oh yeah, I've heard of the blockchain, sir. And you know, is that my intersection, sir? Is that my 95, sir? Would that be the equivalent of Route 95 for the flow of my money, sir?
No, you see, you're already making it more technologically advanced than it needs to be.
All right, let's simplify. Walk it down.
Grandma used to use a checkbook back in the day. Mine did. What about yours?
That's a fact.
Now every single check
still
that,
to this day.
now every single check that was written, what's the one thing that they always do in the back of that checkbook?
You got to sign it, sir.
You got to sign it, and there's also some pages with some lines on it.
And you record it, sir.
Yep, you record it and you balance it. Got to balance that book
balance
out.
The check. You got to balance that check. Yeah, go ahead, come on.
Because money is really more like a scale. It's all about balance. When it comes to accounting, that is. Finance is money. Accounting is about transactions, and transactions have to balance. That's true in grandma's checkbook. That's true in any business anybody creates today. Those line items got to balance. If I put $10 over there, I better have $10 of value somewhere else in another form that was transformed, or else I'm not balanced. Does any of that sound familiar?
Indeed, it does, sir. Indeed
right.
It does.
So what is the blockchain? If I had to give you a simple definition of that, the blockchain is a digital version of the back of grandma's checkbook. It's a ledger. In some ways, a personal accounting system. I wouldn't even say a personal accounting system. I'd say a global accounting system. See, the problem with the banks is these banks all keep their records and logs personally locked up in basements and cupboards and closets and such. This is why there's no visibility as to what's really going on with the money in society that we call currency. Right. Imagine, if you will, that there's a big ass checkbook with a big, huge book full of lines that every transaction that's ever made in the currency is put into one big global balancing accounting system. How would that change the world when everybody's transactions are visible, but you don't know who the person is behind the transactions unless you did the transaction yourself with that person? So in other words, what I'm saying is we could be in a crowded ballpark right now, and if we were making a transaction relative to what would be on the blockchain, nobody would ever see us do it, even though we're surrounded by 30,000 people, 40,000 people, however many Yankee Stadium holds. So again, the blockchain is a visible record. Remember I said it's a trustless storage of value? That's the trustless part, Chef, because you need to be able to look at every single transaction and when it was made and where that coin went to at all times. This is how they're able to say things like, uh-oh, the whales are moving. Uh-oh, somebody sold a whole bunch of Bitcoin. Uh-oh, somebody bought a whole bunch of Bitcoin. You can see every transaction that's ever happened on the blockchain since that 2008 housing crisis date. You just don't know who's behind the transactions unless you have the private keys to unlock those blocks.
And when we talk about the keys, well, you know what? Let's slow cook this. I don't want to go too far ahead. Keep going, sir, because I was going to step too far ahead. Go ahead.
Well,
Well,
before we get to the
let me read the blockchain. Let me read this off for the folks.
Okay, let's do
that. A blockchain is a transaction database. Now, our brother Coke just said balancing the checks, balancing the books. Everybody knows what that looks like. Grandma, if you don't have your grandma, or you personally, do it in the back. Write it down. Okay, this was $200, blah, 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 blah. This is essentially that. A record of transactions, of money going out from you, essentially. So, blockchain is a transactional database. Where's the bodies at, right? Okay, for those of you who want to know your ancestry, right? And now you figured out where everybody's from, and you keep it a particular place. That's your quote unquote blockchain for your lineage, though. Right?
It's a timeline. Yes, it's a timeline of particular moments in time. Keep going, Chef.
Indeed. So, database shared by all nodes participating in a system based in the Bitcoin protocol. A full copy of a currency blockchain contains every transaction ever executed in the currency. Okay? With this information, one can find out how much value belonged to each address at any point in history. Man. Okay.
These are the things that people, even if they're involved in, I bought me some cryptocurrency, they never see this value. That's why it's so important to know this, because do understand what people are doing with crypto now is investing to be able to use this technology, but people rarely actually use it. They just buy some blocks and sell some blocks, and that transaction's on the blockchain, and that's it. What's the value? The best accounting system known to the history of man. Imagine, how would your life be different if you knew where every dollar that you ever touched in your lifetime, you knew where it was and where it's been,
and
every transaction,
when you did it. Oh my God! Oh, that's the trajectory of your life could change. I listen, y'all. I'm coming from a place right now, no cap. I'm learning while we're going through this. Right? I even having, like I said, I made close to 40 off of this crypto stuff. But to me, I look at crypto like I look at food. It's ever changing, it's ever evolving. And you can constantly learn more about this. But the mere, I didn't even know this. I didn't know that it could show when, what, where, when, what, and how much.
But not who.
Right.
Unless you have the keys to those blocks that hold those transactions.
Let's keep walking. That's phenomenal. You know, because I mean, there's an old saying too, family. We keep it simple. You know better, you do better to some degree, right? This can actually discipline you in some regard.
And this is why you start hearing certain things when it's around the crypto space where it's almost like they delineate between the coin and the blockchain. Right. They'll talk about Bitcoin and the blockchain, or Ethereum and the blockchain, or some other coin and a blockchain. The blockchain is that's the lifeline, that's the bloodline, that's the heart of cryptocurrency.
That's the A. In other cases, would you agree with this, Brother Dev, aka Coke? Would you say this is the start of the family tree?
I would say, if you were to okay, that's a great question. I wouldn't call it a tree. That's the wrong, as we say in computer science, that's the wrong data structure. We're talking about a timeline, nothing more.
Copy. Okay. All right.
This happened on this date, that happened on that date, that happened on that date, that happened on that date. And it gives you the same as it does with anybody that understands a checkbook or or how to balance stuff, or how to count your pennies at home. It lets you know where you've been and where you're going financially. The same way that any record keeping or logging, however people do it. Some people don't use checkbooks. Some people use the calculator app on their phone or something like that. But there is some moment in time where you have to sit back and say, this is what went out, and this is what's coming in.
Correct. Copy. Okay, let me read some more on this, sir. Every block contains a hash of the previous block. Interesting. We might have to go in what that hash is. Do you know what the hash is so we keep on track? What do they mean by they say hash?
I do, and that's right in the notes here. And when we talk about hash, remember when I was saying that you played a game where you sat down and saw a whole bunch of words and letters and numbers and all of that stuff, and you had to use some device to convert it into what the message actually was? That's the hide part. That's the cryptography part, if you will. Remember we were talking about that?
Right.
That thing you see that nobody knows what it is without that device, that's what we call a hash. It's the converted message, not the deconverted message. It's the jumbled up message that nobody can read, not the message that you can read.
Oh, so in some regard, you could say it's the camouflage.
Correct. That's what the hash is. When they say hash, that's what they're talking about.
So those scrambled up serial numbers become the camouflage to shelter, per se, your money or the transaction.
Correct. Now here's the part that I think why I believe the blockchain is better than anything that the current banking system has. Each hash is built atop the previous transaction's hash. And what does that mean? It creates almost, think of a chain. Think of the strongest chain link you've ever seen in your entire life. That's what, if I had to say what's an analogy for a blockchain, a visual, think the strongest chain you've ever seen in your entire life. That's what the blockchain would look like as far as how each transaction builds on top of each other.
Got you.
So every transaction that's made when you go buy Bitcoin, when you go buy off of a Cash App, there's a hint. When you go, when you're looking at your transactions on the blockchain, the reason why it's so secure and why people trust the blockchain more than humans is because the math that it takes to create these hashing functions is so powerful that you need computers set up around the entire world to make the entire system work. That you read that before, actually.
Yes.
And so what that means is if me and Chef make a transaction today, our transaction can be wound back all the way to the Genesis block, the very first block back in 2008 that was put on the Bitcoin blockchain. And if it can't do that, the entire system falls apart. The entire system has yet to fall apart since 2008. So this is why we say that it's a trustless system, because you don't care about who you're doing the transaction with. All you care is that your block is on the blockchain. It can't be on the blockchain if the math wasn't mathing.
Man. Hey, I love this. I hope, listen, family, if y'all finding this to be value, put some saute pans in the chat, man. Salute to my brother Next Level in the chat as well, man. Salute. If y'all finding this to be value, man, let us know it's real with some saute pans in the community kitchen chat, y'all. I'm learning some shit here, and I already made money with this crypto shit. I'm gonna make some more. That's for goddamn. That's for sure.
Right.
But
so Chef, about those chain links, right? We said we can go back in time to the very first block, right? That's what we claim here on this podcast. It doesn't matter how many transactions I make with this crypto, it's always going to give me all the transactions back to the very beginning, right? That's what we said, right? Would you mind bringing up that Genesis block?
Okay.
That I passed along to you.
All right, I'm gonna have to
when you hear the word Genesis, what does that What kind of feeling does that give you if you heard the term Genesis block?
What did I say the other day? Creation.
Genesis is a good word for creation. I'd say that. I'd say beginning.
All right. Inception.
Right. So if you bring up the other image, the one that says Genesis block, it's the one with the newspaper hanging on the wall.
You see that? It should be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an image with it.
All right. So let's do this. You want this here?
Yes. So that image, can you open up? Yes. Can you open up that image and let everyone see what's on that image right there? What does it say down there in that headline in the big words?
All right, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks.
This is the front page of a paper that was out in the UK. I believe Barack Obama was signing bailout checks at this very moment, and the rest of the world was not liking the banking system at all. Mm-hmm. This image that you're staring at right here is what's in the Genesis block on the Bitcoin blockchain. The very first block that was created and put on the blockchain that every transaction builds upon is this image you're staring at right here.
Slow roll that back one more time. Can you repeat that, sir?
That's a great. This image you're staring at right here is inside of the first block that was ever put on the Bitcoin blockchain back in 2008. This image is a hint of why it even was created, because a whole bunch of smart people smarter than me, lost faith in the banking system. We can't trust the books. We can't trust what they claim a dollar is worth. We need an accounting system, and we need a better form of currency to run through that accounting system. That's it.
So let me throw this at you real quick. Pause. Was Kamala Harris attempting to do justice or good by black men when proposing to, quote unquote, protect cryptocurrency investments so that black men who make them know their money is safe? First and foremost, it's a nothing. But what say you about this, sir?
I'd say that she doesn't know what she's talking about. But I'm not saying that she doesn't have people around her that aren't smart enough to figure it out. But I'd say that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and it's actually quite dangerous for the average person who doesn't understand cryptocurrency to see things like this. And I'll tell you why. Because anyone that's been listening up to this moment, now that they hear what you just read that she wrote down in her plan, is probably scratching their head saying, why do I need this middle person to ensure my security? I thought the entire thing was about me doing everything myself. They call it self-custodian, meaning you are the bank. One of my favorite parts about the cryptocurrency ecosystem, I'm the bank. You're the bank, Chef. Vina's the bank. DW's her own bank. You see where I'm going? Next Level's his own bank. Now, some people hear that and they start thinking, oh, damn, the bank, where's the keys to the safe? Where's the money? Where's the money? Now, the first thing you do as the bank, this is serious. The first thing you do as your own bank is protect what you believe is going to be coming through that bank. Yes?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
So break that down a little bit, because I like to call it that a lot of people jump out of planes and don't even check to see if their parachute is working.
Well, I mean, let's simplify it here, right? Now that I have my own, essentially, when we look at this, ladies and gentlemen, this is not an admission of her promoting cryptocurrency. This is her infiltrating it.
Becoming a middle woman.
Right, I'm gonna slow cook it for him. This is not her promoting you self-governing your finances. This is her saying, make me your president for the next 4 years. I'm going to come in to show you how to work with your alternative currency and let you know when you should do or when you shouldn't, based off how I see it. Ladies
Which
and
is the
gentlemen,
exact,
which is completely the opposite of why you even do cryptocurrency, ladies and gentlemen.
you took the words out of my mouth, Chef.
You relinquish your ability to manage your own finances, or in this case, currency.
And your ability to hide is now no longer hidden.
So now it's just currency. It's no longer cryptic. Ladies and gentlemen, you have invited, if you did vote for her, you were willing to invite her into your business. Every individual here is their own business, which you should operate like that. This was the craziest trick bag, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of folks didn't really understand it, other than just saying, oh, cryptocurrency, that's some bullshit. I don't really want to do it. Everybody not into crypto. But on the flip side of it, for those who get it, we understand that, okay, these administrations, etc., have always been involved when it comes to how our finances work in partnership with these different banks. But they're not involved in this way, which, to be very clear, ladies and gentlemen, that Fed coin, I don't want to go too far, but you know what, I'm going to pull back. I'll pull back, Cole. I want to speed down.
Oh, we getting there. We getting there.
You know.
Yes, we're getting there, Chef.
But nonetheless, this is what you were voting for. The intrusion of privacy. You already think you have no privacy via the internet or people who are constantly soliciting you through random calls. Well, you were just going to give the house away as well here. So, man, it's just lies after lies. But nonetheless, brother,
I have a question. I have a question for you, Chef C.
Yes, sir.
Now, my mentor, the person who put me up on crypto back in 2012, I'm kind of getting it now a little bit more. I'm curious what your interpretation of it is, but he told me that cryptocurrency, when I asked him what cryptocurrency was to him, he said, because I thought he was going to say, oh, it's money, but I knew it wasn't that because he was already a millionaire. And I was just curious. I'm like, why does someone who has enough money, why are they so turned on about this cryptocurrency stuff? That's where I was, like a lot of people who might be listening now. And I thought he was full of shit when he said it, but I'm curious of your opinion, because I think you definitely have the knowledge now to understand what's happening behind the scenes with crypto. He said, and I quote, cryptocurrency is financial freedom of speech. What's your interpretation of that, sir?
Well, financial freedom of speech. Well, I get to have as much or as little as I want in there without somebody saying I have to do anything in order to be a part. I get to send it wherever I want or not, and I don't have to bend to someone else's rules of engagement. So when he says it's it's freedom of speech, it means I have the right to do business with who and what I feel like doing it and when I feel like doing it. And I don't have to check in with somebody first in order to see if it's okay. That's where the freedom of speech part comes in.
So I'll let the chat know where they'll experience that full freedom of speech off the rip. Try to go into your bank and make a transaction, not ATM machine. Try to go into your bank and make a transaction at 9 p.m. tonight on this Sunday. Let me know how that goes. Try to go and purchase some stock on S&P 500 right now on this Sunday. Closing bell ain't for, what is it? Yeah, closing bell, opening bell rather. Yeah, we got some time before the Monday morning opening bell. Yeah, try to go and get some stock now. And I'm here to tell you that the Bitcoin blockchain has been working 24/7 since that newspaper article you saw on that wall in 2008.
Right. It's no office hours. It's no office
What do you think about that, Chef C? As far as for the people who've never bought any type of crypto in their life, what do you think about that? As far as access, freedom, hey, you might be working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, can't never go to the bank. What about that person?
Well, this is what I know. I know one time I did a Bitcoin transaction about 2:00 in the morning, and it went through. It took, maybe that particular transaction took like 30 minutes, but it still went through.
Oh man, I gotta hurry up and send. I gotta send this Western Union at 4 a.m, and ain't nobody open that actually do Western Union at 4 a.m. I guess I gotta wait until the next morning. Then how does Western Union have that much power over your money?
Well, I mean, listen, ladies and gentlemen. Ultimately, I will just say this. When we go right back to this plan for black men, you were then closing the 24/7 or 24-hour operation, and you were going to make it a 5-day work week if you had voted for this lady and she won. Just to be clear about that.
Because that federal friction would be introduced in of some form of faction.
Right. Blue laws and shit. But anyway.
Anywhere from at minimum, them just say, hey, we're just checking in to see how your crypto transactions are doing. Why are you here is the first question. Why are you even here? This has nothing to do with you. We don't need any particular country, and I'm as American as they get, man, and this has nothing to do with the United States of America or communist Russia, which doesn't exist. It has nothing to do with them. As a matter of fact, if a country came out and said that they wanted to ban crypto, actually what they're saying is we just decided to take ourselves out of the entire game and let the rest of the world play it. That's really what they're saying. But a lot of countries don't know that yet. Because if you notice when they talked about that blockchain, you remember when I said, and you read it yourself, it's around the world, it's global. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of computers that all maintain a copy of that ledger called the blockchain. And that is the duplication that ensures that if one country goes down, the Bitcoin blockchain still keeps on working around the world. As a matter of fact, I jump out the window and say, if half of the globe fell off, Bitcoin will work perfectly fine on the other half of the globe.
I tell you, listen, we're here for the conversation, man. It is an alternative, ladies and gentlemen. This crypto thing was built up by a bunch of folks who just got pissed off of, particular ways of doing business and decided to do something about it.
And decided to do something about it.
And honestly, when we really simplify it, okay, a lot more people need to be fed up about some shit and really decide to do something about it consistently enough. Okay? But, we find other ways to get involved with other nonsense, and it doesn't change anything. This Genesis block. Let me read on this Genesis block a little bit, just so we make it make sense for folks. If you want to track your history, right, your transactions or whatever, there's always a start. There's always a starting point. In this case, the Genesis block is the first block of the blockchain, right? Which we also, broke down, which is your transaction database, essentially. What have you been sending out?
What has everybody been sending out, and everybody has been sending in.
I like that. I didn't even think of that. What everybody has been doing. Phenomenal. Modern version of the Bitcoin number is as block 0. Though very early versions counted it as block 1. The Genesis is almost always hard-coded into the software of the application that utilize its blockchain. It is a special case in that does not reference a previous block, and for Bitcoin and almost all of its derivatives, it produces an nigga having a slow moment, unspecified subsidy. Wow, had a slow moment. Nigga, I can't read. Nigga, I remember words. I can't read them. That's how.
And that's the thing. This is where it starts getting a little confusing, and this is why you always got to break it down into something that people can relate to in the real world. That's the first line that Grandma writes in the back of the checkbook. Everything is built on top of that line. That even held true 100 years ago. Would you say?
Agreed.
You got to start from somewhere.
So
and it's usually a special case.
Right, sir. And I'm glad that you broke down what the hash is. So when we think, and I'm going to zoom in on this, right?
And the goal is for a human to look at what that hash and not even be able to understand it. As long as a computer can decipher it and figure it out, that's the point. That's the crypto part. That's what people have been working on since World War II.
Right. So this is the thing that, right, the hash of the Genesis block.
Right. There's a message in there, and that message, you saw it. It's an image. And see, what's beautiful about when I look at that hash, I think it's beautiful because where the beauty comes in at is that I look at that and I'm like, man, ain't no human could ever be able to decipher this. I love it. I want all my value on something that I know that the average human can't crack just using themselves. They need like a supercomputer to break through it. Now think about your account numbers at the bank or your transaction numbers at the bank. I'd say they're less than 10% of this hash right here. If you were to go and look at your account number at your bank, it'd probably be like 8 numbers, maybe. A human could break that with a pen and paper, given enough years, maybe like 5 or 6 years. They could just figure out what your account number is. And so,
phenomenal.
And so where does this number even come from in the first place? Now we get to it. Well, how does the block even create in the first place? This is where the concept of miners come in, which we haven't even touched on this conversation. See, there's all different aspects to this ecosystem called cryptocurrency. Here's where the miners come in. All a miner is, well, I'll let you tell it. A miner, say someone's mining for gold. Who is that person? What do they do? Like, what? Tell me about a miner when it comes to gold.
They should be the ones who's cleaning it, sifting it, excavating it. Right?
Yeah, they got an important job.
They are the worker.
Yes, They are the worker. And in the cryptocurrency space, the miner's shovel is their computer. And that computer has one job. Remember when I was saying you sit down and you have to transfer the number 4 really means the letter A, and the number 7 really means the letter T, and all of that stuff. The miners are doing that with their computers. The computers are just sitting around trying to solve a math problem, which we don't have to get into in this conversation, but this math has been mathing for hundreds and hundreds of years. Essentially, that miner's computer spends X amount of time to solve a math problem, and the reward for solving that math problem is a block on the blockchain.
Let me zoom in on that. Let me zoom in.
These blocks are what miners typically put on exchanges so normal people like ourselves can buy blocks.
Say that
They
one
have
more
to be.
time, sir.
These blocks are what miners, after they mine them with their computers, will put onto exchanges so normal people like ourselves can purchase them or sell them.
Got you.
So every transaction that anyone's ever made in crypto, including their first, some miner mined for that block in the past. However many times it's been sold, all of that, you can figure it out because you have the keys to that block once you buy it.
I love it. I now I get it, sir. Now I get it. Now, when the cats used to try to sell me, because some would be traders, some would be miners. Back in the day, they would always hit me up. I'm a miner, if you put this, you can get this, and all this other shit. I used to get so turned off by these folks to the point where I just say, I'm gonna do this little other situation, and I'm out of here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So you start, and now we're getting into how can people get crypto and own crypto themselves. So there's a few ways to own cryptocurrency. Number one, you mine for it. That's where the blocks come from.
No.
Number two, you give it to somebody. That's really what cryptocurrency is supposed to be used for, the peer-to-peer side of things. We talked about that before, but until more people and it gains more adoption, we won't be using it for what it's really made for, probably for a while. Until then, people will just keep buying blocks low and trying to sell them high. But when the actual technology is being used, it's supposed to be used for the times that you normally would use cash, but you might not be in the same room. And some people get into well, why are you trying to hide? I'd say, what's the point of cash? When would you use cash? And would you consider that hiding from your ATM card?
So hold on. Let me hold on. You said, would I consider it hiding from my ATM?
Right. If you're the times that you use cash isn't extinct. It's going there, but it isn't extinct. When's the times that you would use cash when you clearly have a credit card or ATM card in your hand? Why is that not hiding?
Right.
And typically the reason why you use cash is because you're trying to do peer-to-peer, hand-to-hand combat. You don't always do hand-to-hand combat, but it's nice to have that freedom and that option every now and again. It's nice to have a few bucks in your pocket. What'd you spend that on? I don't know. I don't even know. It's none of your business. Oh, that sounds shady. Oh, well, shit, maybe we were at the damn concert and they were only selling water. The Guala Guala was only selling water with cash. He didn't have a Stripe account. But he said, if I had cash, let's not act like we don't use cash in this conversation, you see? So essentially, once these miners get these blocks, They can either hold on to them, or they can sell them, or they can give them away, or someone can steal a block from you. We talked about that earlier in the conversation as well. These are the only ways that I can think of off the top of my head how a person can actually obtain Bitcoin. I'd say that anybody that's having any bright ideas right now of being a miner, it might be, unless you have access to a entire warehouse full of computers, you might be 5 to 7 years a little too late. But as of now, most people would typically use exchanges. And an exchange is where it's made just for that. I've got this form of energy and I need to exchange it for that form of energy. What is energy? I don't know, cash, Dogecoin, Bitcoin. What do you exchange? They have them all over the airports.
Heavy game here.
So when it comes down to the units that you are exchanging, what's the smallest unit that you can get in US dollars, Chef C? What's the smallest unit that you can get in US dollars?
Well, I mean, $1.
I disagree. You want to try again? The smallest unit.
You said the smallest unit in
Correct.
US
That can't
dollars.
in USD that can't be broken down anymore. We're including coins here, by the way.
Yeah, see. Okay, so a penny.
There you go. What's smaller than a penny in USD?
If you know, let me know, sir.
I don't know. I have no clue. I say nothing. Because what we're doing is, this is for the people who say, well, Bitcoin's last I heard is like 100,000. I ain't got that kind of money. How much should I put into it? What I'm trying to tell you here is that a penny is even too big for the Bitcoin blockchain. Did you know that, Chef? A penny is even too big for the Bitcoin blockchain. Did you know that?
Realistically, yeah, I did actually. I did.
And the reason why is because what Bitcoin units really are. To fall even further down the rabbit hole, I've been told before, and once I also realized there's no such thing as Bitcoin. And when I say that, it's like saying there's no such thing as a US dollar. It's really just 100 pennies. Does that make sense? Because there's 100 pennies in a US dollar. When it comes to Bitcoin, the smallest unit on the blockchain that can be done is a Satoshi. Satoshi is also the name of the person they claim that made Bitcoin, but I don't believe it's some old Asian guy. I believe it's actually a group of people that are going under some moniker, because remember, the point is to keep anonymity. The smallest unit of value that you can purchase on a blockchain is Satoshi. When you look up a Satoshi unit, can you tell me what that's about, Chef? Let's see how small this thing gets down to.
Well, let me read off that first line here then, sir. The Satoshi is currently the smallest unit of Bitcoin currency recorded on the blockchain. It is 100 millionth of a single Bitcoin.
Now stop right there. It's 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin. That's a big number, but it's actually a really small number. So here's how we figure out how much a Satoshi's worth right now. What is the current price of a Bitcoin?
That I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Google's your friend on this one.
Well, what's the current price of a Bitcoin? Google's our friend.
Yeah, I'd say in this conversation, last I checked it was like 97,000, I think it was. It had dropped 10,000. People were freaking out. Oh my God, it's not 107. It's only 97.
One Bitcoin is about 95,000.
Oh, so it dropped some more. Uh-oh, better watch out. It's going to bottom out. No, I'm kidding. So what's the exact number? Would you say? I don't see it on the screen there.
Oh, it's $95,945, sir.
Okay, now in Google, and I learned this myself. Did you know Google? I learned this, but Chrome is a calculator, so you can put addresses up in that address bar, or you can use it as a calculator. Now we might need both of us to do this, Chef. But this is for all the people that think that Bitcoin's too expensive. This is where it gets real fun. So you put that number 99, 95, whatever thousand it is into that bar, and then do the slash. We're going to divide it by 100 million. 1/100 millionth. Yes. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros. That's 1 with 8 zeros. We're going to take that Bitcoin price, 95,000, whatever it is, and we're going to divide it by 1 and 8 zeros. And let's see how much. That's the price of a Satoshi. Let's see what that winds up being. I bet you it's going to be less than a penny. I'll start there. So it's $95,945 right now. Don't refresh the page because that'll change. Let's copy that number and let's put that up there in the address bar or somewhere where we had a calculator. We're gonna do we're gonna use the calculator.
Hold on. We're gonna use this real quick. Hold on. I'm typing in something right now. Okay.
My fingers don't count that high, so we're gonna need some technology to help.
So you're looking at 0.000001.
Right there. That's how much a Satoshi costs in US dollars. How many zeros is it past 2 zeros? Because that's a penny.
Well, it's what do I have? 1, 2.
Subtract 2 zeros from that. How many places is that?
How many zeros I got on this motherfucker? God damn. Ladies and gentlemen, 94. Let me do it a different way quick. Hold on. Let's do it a different way.
Should be like 0.0000 something.
Hold on, sir. All right, so it's 0.095495. So that's what it is. It's essentially.
It's way less than a penny. It's way less than a penny, isn't it?
So it's even less than a penny, but it's incalculative.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 to a penny, right?
Right.
So that's the point that needs to be made here. We go if there's anything that needs to be slowed down, it's this moment right here. A penny is too much to even buy a single Satoshi. You got to buy like 1,000 Satoshi to even use a penny up. A Satoshi is the smallest transaction that can be done on the blockchain. So what I'm reminded of right now is there's this liquor called Goldschlager. You ever heard of Goldschlager before, Chef?
I have, sir.
Those little pellets of gold in there, those are the Satoshi. For anyone that was buying gold that thinks they have to buy an entire gold bar, I'd tell them, no, you can just go buy Goldschlager. There's some gold in there. So the smallest transaction that you can make on the blockchain, you can't even make it. You have to buy 1,000 of them. And that's because that's what Bitcoin is really about. It's about keeping accounting down to the grain of sand. Remember we were talking about the blockchain?
Correct, sir.
That's what it's about. And what you're purchasing are those Satoshis. Now, here's the interesting thing about the exchanges like your Cash Apps and your Coinbases and your Krakens and things like that. They don't want to deal with transactions that are just pennies. So they set their own minimum amount that you have to put in to the Bitcoin blockchain. That's not blockchain's fault. That's the exchange's number. Now, the exchanges aren't quite like your PayPal's and Western Unions. They're a lot better than that, but they're still exchanges. So they're a necessary evil. Unless you want to be a miner, you're going to either have to have someone give you cryptocurrency or you have to buy some yourself. That's the options that someone who's never gotten to crypto has, even the ones who have. That's the options I have. So now the exchanges set their minimum rate. I believe Cash App has the lowest that you have to put in. I think you can literally put in like $5 and get, I need to get $5 worth of Bitcoin. I think Coinbase might be $10, $20. Could be off, because a lot of that number depends on the current demand of how many people even want it. So I'm here to tell you, when the price goes up, it's even that much harder to get your hands on cryptocurrency. The minimum amount an exchange might be $20, but it's not going to be $20,000.
Right.
So if anyone's got some money that they got in their couch, $5, $6 here or there, I'd recommend them to go onto a Cash App as their on and off ramp for cryptocurrency. Let's pause right there.
Here's what I want to do. I'm going to pull up some of the different, let's see if I can pull up different places to do crypto.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Chef C, what would you say to somebody that would think, oh, I don't got $95,000, so I missed it? Now that you know that a Satoshi is 1/100 millionth of a Bitcoin, and that's the least amount you have to put in to get on the blockchain.
Well, I mean, again, if we're looking at, I always challenge where people priorities are. I don't particularly say, because everybody finds a way to put money on what they want to put money on, and that's where their priorities are. So if their priority is making $2 into $4 or $4 into $8, then that's where they'll put it. The priorities determine where they put their finances. So that's really my thing. I mean, it's not even about something being so far or financially out of scope for them. It's about what they deem, is priority to them. So people spend with their quote unquote priorities, or if you can get them into an emotional state.
That's true, and this is where all of the classes and the courses and the Take My Bitcoin class, and for the low price of $400, and you still never wind up with any blocks in a wallet.
Or you could hit them with a generational wealth thing or some shit like that. Things like that. If you can get them, get them in the finesse with the generational wealth shit, then you good. and sell your course, and I'll show you how to mine. That's how you get it. Get them emotionally spent. So there's always got to be something.
Next thing you know, you're investing $10,000 into a mining rig computer instead of just going and buying blocks on the blockchain on an exchange and just sitting. That's all you got to do.
So that's the name of the game. So I mean, again, all your special gurus, y'all, when the first thing they do is if they start heartstringing you, right, and showing you these rented Airbnb mansions and these Toro cars, okay, until they actually get enough jukes off to where they can actually own some of those things. That's where the play happens. They get enough of you with the rented stuff until they can actually buy the real stuff, and then now by then it's too late, and you're trying to figure out why it never worked for you. Boy, they got this shit figured out, man. Shout out to
exactly.
Shout out to these gurus, man. These niggas are.
So now,
These niggas
so now,
are phenomenal.
now the next thing is that what happens after you purchase your first satoshis is that what's happening is those blocks that someone else had, they're basically exchanging you keys to those blocks, those private blocks that you are the only one that can decipher them. Remember to hide. They're exchanging those private keys with you, and you're exchanging money to them. That's what happens when you go to an exchange like a Cash App and quote unquote purchase $5 worth of Bitcoin. That's what you're purchasing. You're purchasing keys to value.
Well, check
Now, when
this.
you look at that price right there, so keep that in mind. That price, that 95945 that I see on the screen right there, all that price is, Chef C, is what people are willing to pay to have blocks on the blockchain. Nothing more.
Say that one more time, sir.
All that price is what people are currently willing to pay to have access to those blocks on the blockchain on an exchange at this moment in time. This number is not going to be the same as it's going to be if we refresh the screen. I bet you if we refresh the screen right now, it's going to be a different number. Try it out.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Bang. Let's see what it look like now.
I thought you said the number was not. I thought you said the number.
Hey, I thought it was 945, sir. Huh?
I thought it was 954.
See? Hold on. Let me refresh it again. You think it's going to be different?
I would say
right now?
I would say it is, but here's the thing: the way Google's version of their pricing works is they refresh theirs every 5 minutes, but technically speaking, it refreshes with every transaction. There's just so many transactions that are happening at any given moment in time that a lot of systems say, well, if I only update the pricing for Chef C every 5 minutes, he's not going to really be too pissed off. Now, a day trader, they need to know that real-time pricing action. And this is why there's different levels to this, Chef. Now, this talk is for the person that's like, look, I just want to put some couch money into it, go to sleep and wake up and it's a different number. And all we're here to tell them is put your couch money into it on Cash App and wait 5 minutes and press refresh and it's going to be a different number.
Now we got big boys on the screen. Cash App been my go-to, y'all, for the last couple years. But these are some of the other quote-unquote big boys.
No, but
are the best.
Now notice the small layers of entry where common folk like us get into it like a Cash App. Yeah. Notice that's not on the list.
Right.
This is why I say it's a double-edged sword and why I say that exchanges are necessary evils, because I don't necessarily like exchanges, but I do realize you need exchanges for people to get onto the blockchain if they're not going to mine or no one's going to give them any Bitcoin. So it's a necessary evil. I just don't like the amount of friction some exchanges have. And when I say that word friction, I mean stuff like, well, you can't do any transactions on this exchange unless you give up your firstborn child, your social security number, your passport, your driver's license. You might as well be dealing with a bank at that moment.
Right.
I believe anyone who has Cash App installed now, I believe they're like one step away. They just have to tell them who they are or something like that, and then they can just start getting stuff. I dealt with someone just 2 days ago. We were just having a conversation just like this, and in the middle of the conversation, I didn't know what he was doing on his phone, but he went and he said, I just bought $25 worth. And I said, of what? And he was like, I just bought $25 worth of Bitcoin. I just did it, man. It's like, it's my fault if I can't go on Cash. He said as many times as he used Cash App, If he can't figure out how to go on there and press that buy button next to Bitcoin instead of cash and put $25 into it, then he's the problem.
And I'm gonna tell you, and shout out to Cash App. Although they killed they deleted the creator of Cash App, because he had the nerve to get involved with this. He was one of that particular thing was one of the first apps per se that got involved with crypto, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow, I didn't put that 10 for a Kofi on to put that 2 and 2 together to make that 4. Yeah, I just had an epiphany. I just got an epiphany on this call right here about that situation. Interesting.
Yeah, that's the chef. I put that's the chef hat, the little chef hat. So he was one of the first, y'all. And remember, they found him stabbed up. Right? It was okay when he, that Cash App was moving pretty good during the pandemic, y'all. But then he started kicking up. He kicked up and partnered with this whole crypto thing. And next thing you know, they found him slouched over, stabbed up. Somebody juked him. They didn't mind him doing, funneling the money that federal money around. They didn't mind that, y'all. They mind when he got with the crypto game and got him out the way. So, and guess what? I wouldn't even be surprised if any one of these little quote unquote top 5 exchanges was a little, sent the bird out too to expedite that process. Because here's what I'm going to say to this, y'all. I used to have the Kraken, and I also used to have Coinbase. I had Coinbase. They take a little bit more than even the Cash App.
Yes, Coinbase takes the most, just to be clear.
Right. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's about literally eliminating the competition. Right? So, when I say eliminating the competition, a lot of the folks have seen that, hey, cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. But even when in 2008, remember, 2008, family, this thing jumped off. And I first heard about it in 2008. I did. But I went along with the propaganda. Oh, it's jokes. It's a scam. It's all of this other shit. So I said, nah, I'm not getting juked. I'm staying away from that. Spin back a little bit later. Folks saw massive gains through this crypto. Cash App partners with them. He gets moved out the way. Crypto ain't going nowhere. So now Kamala Harris said, we're going to protect black men who make investments, quote unquote, protect black men who make investments in cryptocurrencies.
There's no way that they can do that, Chef. I'll just be the first one to say it in certain situations. So when you go and get an account on the exchange of your choice, right? The first thing they do, you heard us say in this conversation many times, keys.
Right.
The keys are simple, actually. It's typically a 12. They call it a seed phrase, and that seed phrase is typically 12 random words out of the dictionary. Okay. And someone might say, oh, well, can't people guess the words, all of that stuff? And I'm like, yeah, meanwhile, your bank's giving you a level of security of what's your high school mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Your bank's giving you a level of security of what's your mother's maiden name. You realize how insecure and easily guessable those security questions are right there for any person on this planet? All I got to know is what high school you went to. So off the rip, the security around crypto is better. You just have to understand that you're the bank and have to employ these concepts. Right. Those keys, that key phrase is 12 random words. And why they give that to you is because if anything were to happen to, say, your cell phone, or say, well, whatever access you had to those accounts, you could always get another cell phone, install Cash App or Coinbase or Crypto.com or Kraken or Gemini or Binance or whatever one you felt the most comfortable with. After you went and looked, what's their rate they're going to charge me per transaction?
Right.
They're going to give you a 12 phrase key phrase. And this is typically where people are so emotional, they forget to write it down and put it where they put their most important documents. Then you become the person that's like, I used to have 4 Bitcoin on this thumb drive in this account at this exchange. I just forgot my credentials. You're screwed. There's nothing Kamala Harris can do to get you your private key phrase back to you. Nothing. Someone else has your key phrase that you don't trust, that shouldn't have your key phrase. You know what I mean? It's like they got the keys to the house and the deed. You're screwed. I just told you earlier in this conversation, I had a loved one that died in a fatal car accident, and the first thing her best friend did was use the secret key phrase to drain her Bitcoin account.
So how you're telling us that what Kamala promised here, she didn't have the capabilities of even doing even with a team, because the chain isn't set up that way. Is that what you're saying, sir?
If you were to lose your keys to a wallet, you as a black man were to lose your keys to your wallet, God forbid, to say a Coinbase or something like that, what is Kamala Harris or the United States federal government going to do to get keys back for a system that's globally distributed? What can she do? There is no FDIC of the blockchain.
Come on. I like that. Listen, this is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. But again, for the big boys, I mean, and girls, you want to go here. These are some exchanges you can use to get your crypto journey started. Again, they take a lot more than what they need to, and they require a minimum in there in some of these. Like, what was it? I think I had crack, and they wanted me to keep 100 in there on some Bank of America or Chase Bank shit. And when I got down to my final $100, they wouldn't even let me take that final $100 out of there.
And guess what, Chef? See, the blockchain kept on trucking, because what you start to realize is the very questions that you may have about cryptocurrency, you actually should be asking about your current banking system. The reason why all of these exchanges have so much friction is not from the blockchain. That's the easy side of the transaction. The difficult side of the transaction is dealing with cash.
Well, check this. Watch this. When I say that particular exchange wouldn't let me get the 100 out, but when I went to Cash App like, here, man, you want to take it? Ain't no minimum. Get this shit out of here.
And you brought up a great point. The ability, there's that freedom again. See, Chef, you experienced that free right there too, with the freedom to be able to say, you know what, y'all don't want to play right? Let me go ahead and move my Satoshis and my blocks over to that wallet over there on that exchange, and I'll just exit off the ramp there.
Right. That's exactly what I did. So I'm saying for the novice, you just getting your feet wet, put $10 in there. If you're feeling a little bit more, put $500 in there.
Hey, Chef, shout out to all of the people out there, all the OnlyFans models, all of the folks out there that have
shout
ever
out to
had
the OnlyFans.
Hey, no, Chef, watch this. That have ever had their account, all the normal folk out there that have ever had their PayPal account shut down. due to potential fraudulent activity suspected. Shout out to anyone out there that's going on a trip to the Caribbean or going on a trip to California somewhere or something like that, and they out of their normal area where they're from, and their own bank tells them, we shut your card down due to fraudulent activity.
Right. Cook these niggas. Right. Come on. That is what I did not experience. I've never experienced that. What I've experienced through the exchanges is someone trying to monitor, because that means you as, I guess you could say customer, is exiting their system. So that means
I'm glad you said that. You are a customer from their business model. You're a customer. Just like with the bank, you're a customer.
Right. So now that you're attempting to leave, they said, listen, they got to get a piece of your ass before you get up out of there. Okay. So that's the kind of thing that you will face with some of these exchanges you see here on the screen. But again, for a person that just want to test it out and see what's shaking, you can almost listen. I will say, for me, this is what I see. When Trump finally gets in, we're gonna see a little bump in these currencies, and I think that would be a good way for you to gauge if it makes sense for yourself. You're gonna have to ride the wave just like any other opportunity zone, but you will see it. Some movement is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Hey, Chef, let's see some more movement. Now I'd say you could refresh the page.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I like that talk. Let's do this. Let's bring it here, ladies and gentlemen. Eyes on the screen. Let's show you some movement here. Bingo.
So what's happened in the past 2 points? It went up $500 and it went down $300.
But we did see movement there, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
But check this, Coke. Watch this. Now, for a person that somebody seeing this, they be like, "Oh, I lost money, man. Oh shit." You see what I'm saying? What do you say to them then?
What I would say to them is why'd you put so much in that drop would make you emotional? Because if someone put in $5 right now, their account might say $4.99.
Right.
Then you start getting into do what works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not play crypto like the lottery. You might as well just go play the lottery. Do not play crypto like the casino. Just go to the casino.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother Coke. We're getting to the end here, ladies and gentlemen. But brother Coke, a couple things. We got Jutta in here saying he's a victim of being juked 4 years ago from the crypto game. You're gonna have to elaborate on that a little bit more, sir.
Yeah, definitely something. I seen this and I was like, oh hell, yeah. Salute to Judah Prince up in here.
Yeah. Now listen, let's be clear. Let me say this to the Prince. Let me say this to you, sir. Nobody's selling courses here. Nobody's even saying that this is the best thing ever. We're just showing you that there's an opportunity. However you got juked out of this, there's been people who got juked. And I think it has to do with a lack of understanding, knowledge, and emotional spending. Okay? A lot of times people get juked in this crypto game off of emotional stuff instead of thinking logically. And a lot of times we're not in a place to make these transactions. A lot of people talk real slick on this stuff too, though. I'm gonna tell you straight like this: a lot of folks do a lot of harp stringing to people in this crypto game, and just in general, folks like to run game. So you got to be careful with a person that's super heart stringing you when it comes to this stuff, because a lot of people aren't aware. A lot of times when it comes to cryptocurrency, it's one-way transaction unless the other person decides to send something back.
Can you repeat that, Chef? See, that's a very important feature of the blockchain.
Okay. It's a one-way transaction unless somebody decides. Nothing holds them to it unless they decide to send you something back. Because once it's out, it's gone.
So basically, you're saying it's one way. Even if somebody decides to send you something back, they're not sending you something back. They're just doing another transaction.
Else. Yes.
Yes.
Sending you, making a different transaction. This is a one. All of this stuff, when it comes to crypto, it's a one-way ticket, y'all.
So now, for all the big people that shout out to all the people out there that have ever had a charge back on a credit card. You done did some hard work, done sold something on eBay. Well, eBay kind of covers that now, but yeah, that's if you're on eBay. What about Mercari or something else like that? It's not baked into the actual monetary system. Imagine all of the time. This is actually a feature I like about Bitcoin. A lot of people don't like it at first because they say, oh, well, what happens if I send it to the wrong address, ... And I'm like, well, that's almost impossible, because there's a higher chance of you just putting a wrong address in and it not going anywhere because that address isn't a real address than there is of you putting in the wrong number and sending it to someone else.
Right.
You actually have a higher chance of getting struck by lightning than for you to send it to the wrong address, because the way the blockchain works is if you get one letter or one number off or just one little pixel on that QR code off, it's just going to say, I don't know how to compute this.
Right. Let me look at respond to the Jihad and the Prince in there. He said his family was trying to get his family out of a jukes, and he got hit for a lick, $1,400 lick. I mean $14,000 lick.
Yep, that a lot of people got hemmed up, man. And it's because they didn't have conversations like we're having here. And I appreciate this conversation, because if you want to just get into the how do I take my cash, put it on the blockchain, and take it off when there's more, there's 1,001 channels on YouTube right now that would love to take your $14,000. Respectfully, Judah Prince. Respectfully, I appreciate Judah Prince for even coming in at this moment, because you see Judah filling up the chat to tell the story of the fact of what happens when you're the bank and don't respect that you're the bank, or don't even know that you're the bank, and that other people, unless they're giving you straight transactions to a wallet with a hash and the QR code and all of that, they're probably trying to take your money in so they can have more Bitcoin.
Come on. Well, let's relate it to the modern day bank as well, Brother Cope, Brother Dev. Ladies and gentlemen, when you invest, here's the thing. Here's what I want you to think of. When you invest with the bank, IRA or anything like that, you tell them to do the trading for you and stuff like that. How sure are you that they're putting this money where it actually needs to go? Right? Like what assurances do you get? So again, you're adding in another person to be your business manager, and all they're looking at is, listen, I'm going to get my percentage off this person by any means. Right? It's not about really looking out for you. You're just another number. Okay? So in that moment, if it makes the most sense for them to take whatever money you gave the bank at that time and to put it in here which assures that they get whatever they need to get first.
I do remember the bank's already loaning out 80% of that before you even, by the time you hit deposit. So they gotta deal with that behind the scenes, and hopefully you don't find out about.
Right. So again, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, there's so many different things that our modern day banking system takes advantage of, because a lot of us become robotic, right? Go to work, get your check, put it in the bank.
That's it. That's what's really going on.
You know, get that money, put it in the bank, and it should be good there. But within the last 10 years, 10 to 15 years or so, go to work, get your check, put it in the bank, but now you need it. And your bank is saying, well, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm not ready to give you back your money yet. How much longer do you think that's going to continue to happen, y'all? Right? Well, first and foremost, that's the bare minimum now. It's going to become more aggressive. When I'm saying when I'm talking about aggressive, I'm talking about how long they get to retain your stuff. Just a couple months ago, I got a letter in the mail talking about bank minimums being increased from $12 to $16.
That's wild. There's that rent seeking.
Okay. They've turned transactions to real estate, but monetary real estate now. You got to pay rent to hold your money in there. Yeah, ladies. And then to be able to say, hey, I need it, but they get to tell you when they're going to release it. So how do you win? How do you win? How do you have, as the brother, as your mentor would say, that freedom of speech, Brother Coke, in a system such as that? Yeah. So now, you know, when the brothers say he got jokes, listen, at the time, I can almost guarantee a lot of folks have said they got jokes through this crypto situation, because a lot of times introducing a new system or way of doing transactions is new, and they prey on your ignorance. A lot of these folks, they prey on you. Go ahead, Brother Coke.
Especially with dealing with altcoins. And that's the first time I mentioned that on this call. If you notice, the only thing that we've really been talking about is Bitcoin and a little bit of Ethereum. Altcoins are, I'd say, a topic for another day, and there's enough people out there that can get you on those paths. For full disclosure, I personally don't mess with. It's either Bitcoin or bust for me. Maybe a little bit of Ethereum, and the reason why is because I believe in that blockchain. I believe in that blockchain and its ability to keep track of transactions. And I know that the technology behind it is going to be around as long as the internet's around. Right. That's what I'm really investing in when I say I'm investing in Bitcoin. I didn't say cryptocurrencies. I said Bitcoin, which is a cryptocurrency.
Right. Well. Let me wake this up a touch. Actually, I'm gonna drop the link in here. But what I want us to touch on real quick, Brother Coke, aka Dev, what I consider cryptocurrencies equivalent of the stock market's S&P 500, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum in my eyes. Okay,
and that's something I'm interested in your perspective on that, because now we're getting to the point where we've covered the majority of everything we need to cover. Then we start getting into everyone doing what's right for them and their own interpretations. Because that's the thing about it, is that we all have our interpretations and we're learning it. We're building this as we're flying it, literally. So you brought that up a couple of days ago. And I had to think about it for a little bit, but it makes sense, especially when you start involving a myriad of other different types of quote unquote cryptocurrencies and altcoins and all of that stuff that's not Bitcoin and Ethereum. Why did you mention that about that, particularly the S&P 500? I heard you say that. Now I get it. You're saying you're kind of trusting on the old faithfuls. Can you wake that up a little bit for even me?
Well, even for anybody, ladies and gentlemen, there's always a historic trail of companies that have more percentage-wise have been in the green than they've been in the red historically. Okay, and for those, when I say S&P, we're talking about Fortune 500 companies, you know, $1 billion industry type of stuff that have always come out on the better end for their time of doing business. So in doing business, that gives you an opportunity zone where you can almost bet on certain things. For those who understand the history of the stock market, and shout out to my brother Jersey General for getting us into the first stage of the stock market thing here. We're gonna have part 2 very soon. Y'all keep it locked for that. But the stock market, in its inception, ladies and gentlemen, it has been in the green more than it's been in the red, to the tune of 61 to 66%, if my understanding is accurate. So at the bare minimum, I can count on those Fortune 500 companies, ladies and gentlemen, rendering me some kind of dividend during payout. So as it pertains to the when we start talking about Bitcoin, when we start talking about crypto, there's so many fake coins out there, ladies and gentlemen, right? Almost borderlining the NFT, which is whatever, some kind of creative intellectual property that was created, and you position it. Often works for somebody who already has pre-existing celebrity, right? And you can kind of placate that off to the emotions or the excitement of what's happening with people around you, so you can sell it that way. But we've seen different little coins out here. Dogecoin, stupid, and they were essentially meme coins, right? Little stupid little stuff that really didn't mean anything. But you have Bitcoin, which is one of that Bitcoin is backed by a couple other companies. I can't remember the other companies that it's backed by. However, it has always shown itself to be on the up and up since cryptocurrency has been around. Same thing with Ethereum. And you know, brother Dev / Coke Sharpton, you did a phenomenal job of informing me of some of the digital contractual benefits of having an Ethereum coin, which, you know, for my business owners out here, Ethereum is separating itself from Bitcoin by giving you a automated contractual environment.
Yep, that's the smart contracts.
Right, via smart contract. So for those of you who are in business per se, let's really get into this a touch. If you're in business, right, and you don't want to be the guy that's always following up with the client and making sure they meet these particular deliverables before that exchange happens, whether it be service, goods, etc. Those digital smart contracts per se, not per se, but the smart contracts are the things that have to be met upon release of, I would say, the transaction of the coins to the person that's getting whatever the good or service is on the other end. That is built in to protect you per se, or at the bare minimum ensures deliverability from the person to person exchange Am I correct, Brother Coke Sharpton?
Absolutely.
Okay. So now when I look at something like that, and I look at these two big boys who've been around, have shown green, right, for the most part, and I can count on these companies doing exactly what they've done. Other different entities that are actually dealing with dealing with USD right now, they're getting behind Ethereum and Bitcoin. So when I see these companies get behind those guys, I say to myself, hold on, wait a minute. These why put so much angst or even just faith in a particular entity that's supposed to be quote unquote a scam? But when I see a real company then say, hey, we want to invest in this thing, I say, okay, that's almost the equivalent of the S&P 5, because these companies have been showing themselves to be progressive. These entities or items have shown themselves to be progressive, y'all, and they're not going anywhere. As we've seen during the first time where crypto really saw an uptake, per se, during 2019 and pandemic. We saw a real uptake, and we saw the introduction of different coins. For example, like I said, that Doge, the little stupid little dog. They got your girl Hawk Tui out right now. What's some other coins we saw? Some goofy ass coins that we saw come out, Brother Coke.
They had one coin in particular. I remember around 2017. It was called Banana Coin, and it claimed that its purpose was it was going to track the amount of bananas that were grown in Venezuela.
Right.
And that never launched off, but they did wind up making about a few $1 million worth of Ethereum for themselves. Hey, we got this new coin coming out. Send us your cash and we'll send you our coins. Or no, correction. The way it works is, because remember, they're off of cash. Right. You go to this exchange, buy some Ethereum, send us the Ethereum, and we'll send you banana coins.
Bingo.
That's the altcoin game.
Right.
And what I'm starting to learn as I keep going through this lifetime path of cryptocurrency, it is lifetime for me too. What I'm going through this path and learning is, wait a minute, I'm the one with the value. I'm the one that has the Ethereum. They're there just to take my coins.
Correct, sir. Correct. Now, and see, the reason I say that, y'all, everybody that's still checked in with us, salute to y'all as well. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so, okay? The reason I say this as well is when you see these smaller coins wrap themselves within an Ethereum or a Bitcoin umbrella, right? Kind of hide behind it or wrap themselves around it. That tells me who the big dog is. That tells me that these are companies that are insulated. Well, coins that are insulated. I want to be able to put my money behind these particular coins, just as you would say, for example, a Tesla, a Mac, Apple, right?
Well, see, what I like about what you're doing, Chef, is that you're taking it more away from it being a currency and putting it more towards on, wait a minute, this is like being one of the first investors to the internet.
Right, sir. Right.
Can you wake that up a touch? Because that's very important.
Well, the way I look at it is this. I'm following where industries go. I don't necessarily per se follow what people are saying, but more so what they are doing. And when I hear a company, I don't care if a company bashes another one. and then turn around and financially support it or buy into it. That's what I'm following. Okay? So for me, it's like, listen, again, with a lot of these companies here, we need to follow where the investors are going. When folks start communicating to you, okay, these are the trends. And then some folks hear some of the sayings like, okay, this is here for a season, blah, 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 all of that other fly shit. No, I watch what has always been around. So in this case, y'all, and it's not really that hard to get into, especially when we have the opportunity that is Cash App. Okay? It's easier to go that route, get you a little Bitcoin, get you a little Ethereum through Cash App, right? Than trying to go through one of these little exchange apps. So
hey, Chef, and that might change next year. It might be Robinhood. Hey, man, I remember there's been times in my life I've been down in Miami Beach or Paris, France. There's this place called La Maison du Bitcoin in Paris, France. It was the first brick and mortar Bitcoin exchange. I don't want to call it a bank. I think that'd be disrespectful to call it that. But it was one of the first brick and mortar exchanges that ever existed on the planet. And it was out in Paris, France. They opened up, I want to say around 2015 or something like that. I actually took a trip out there just to make sure and see that it was real. Like, I was like, there's no way. So I could just walk in and then just give them cash and they're just going to give me Bitcoin and I'm out the door. No questions like that. Are we doing that now? And not only did that happen, there are still one of my favorite places to get Bitcoin. Actually, you can't really find them too much anywhere now, but there used to be ATM machines all over the place. When I say all over the place, if you're near a major city, there's a high chance that there was at least 5 to 10 Bitcoin ATMs around you between the years of 2016 to 2022, 2023, I would say. And they just look like normal ATM machines. You could use them as normal ATM machines and get hit with that $5 surcharge for using a different ATM than your bank, that your bank's going to charge them, or they'll charge you rather. But they also were a Bitcoin exchange off the ATMs. And you literally go there and then hold up your wallet with your QR code. That's how they know where to send the Bitcoin to. And you put the cash in the ATM and they send you the Bitcoin transaction and you walk away. I did that for about 3 years of my life, 4 years of my life. It was great. Totally anonymous too.
Well, I tell you, brother Coke. I mean, you know what? Let me go ahead. Listen, anybody has questions? I think we need to open up the kitchen right now.
Absolutely, we can do that, and then we can. I have a little quick how-to that's going to be the shortest part of this talk, and it's going to it touches on what you just mentioned about dealing with history instead of necessarily guessing what this dollar is going to do in the future. Because again, if you want that kind of vibe, just go buy a lottery ticket or go to Vegas and pull a slot machine, because that's more that game. And I'm not knocking it. There's a lot of places these dollars can go to and convert into other forms of energy. It's just the problem is when you're dealing with those games, the house typically doesn't always win, but they typically do.
Okay, so what do I need to pull up?
Well, refresh the page first, I would say. I think you just did that. It looks like, oh no. Did. So it went from 95.9. Was that the highest that we've seen it on this column?
I've refreshed this page 3 times, sir.
So now I think this is the lowest we've seen it. Yes.
It is.
Right. So but you do notice one thing though. It is moving on a Sunday. Isn't that something? How's that S&P 500 that you mentioned before? How's that movement on this Sunday?
That I do not know, sir.
Right, because it's not moving because the closing bell is only on Monday through Friday.
Right.
So what we do notice though is that you can't just whenever someone asks what's the price of a cryptocurrency, even the price that they tell you, that's just what it was when they looked at it. It's a different price now. And that's okay. That's good. You make money, quote unquote, when there's volatility. You don't make money when it's flatlining.
And there's a new number there.
There's a new number there. Right, right. Now I want you to look up something on your Google. I'm gonna take you down a little quick path, and this is and the next few minutes is going to help people to say, well, how should I invest into this thing? What's my strategy? What's a default strategy? And I'd say do what works best for you. But a good default strategy is just to first know, well, how does it move? Because clearly now it's not about looking at a snapshot of a price of something that is a digital asset. It's about the ability to look at something over time. Would you agree to that?
Agreed, sir. Agreed.
Right. So the first thing that you look up in your Google is there's this thing called a sine wave.
All right, a sine wave, sir. I think I found it. But I'll tell you what.
I'm starting to realize in my life it's the movement to life. You're going to see it. It's going to look real familiar.
Hold on. One can assign a wave port to any sheet. Is that what you're referring to?
No, SINE.
SIN. Okay. Hold on. Oh, sine wave. Got you. Boom. That's interesting. Okay. Let's pull this up. This is what
I say damn near everything goes off of it, including humans. You got an image of that thing? There's the wave over on the left. You see that?
I do, sir.
Looks like a roller coaster. That's the first thing I think of. What does it look like when what you see?
No, that's what I'm looking at, sir. We all see it right now. But give me a moment, sir. Let me do this real quick. I gotta I gotta take a brief commercial break, sir, and I'm gonna be right back. Y'all keep it locked. We're gonna take a quick commercial, y'all. All right, I'll be right back.
I've been all over the world. I've noticed this about Black Americans, and I'll stop here. We have more people trying to turn us around than I've seen for any other group anywhere in the world relative to what our situation is. That you got teachers, you got people that will just do stuff. If they find out you're legit, just help you because they want to see Black folks make it. We do have this. This is lacking in other places, I can assure you. But you know what? Our desire to save people cannot be greater than people's desire to be saved and to help. So the people that do not want it, let them go. Jesus said, let the dead bury the dead. I sure get it nowadays.
All right, we back, man. We back. So let me get this. So what are we looking at here? So I see that roller coaster. Talk to me.
Well, have you seen anything like that before?
Well, I mean, the first thing I think of is hospital room.
Great. Because somebody might look at this and they say, well, it looks like it just goes up and down. That looks a little scary. Roller coasters can be scary, but you know what can be even scarier? Being in a hospital and not seeing this and seeing a flat line.
Right.
So this wave actually, I won't get too deep into it, but there's a lot of things in life that model around this, from vibrations to even us, the words we're saying right now. Those are sound waves. Even the light that goes into our eyes. Those are visible rays that go into our eyes. They all wind up at some point looking like this sine wave right here. The stock market, real estate market. And that's why I kind of call it like the wave of life, because it's really what's happening all around us. It looks like it's going up and down, but it's really cyclical. You notice it's cyclical. You kind of see that circle drawing the line up and down.
Indeed.
That's why we're looking at this, is because that's typically how markets do. And this line is not money or numbers, it's people, Chef. That's why I say this is the line of life. Sometimes people want to get into the S&P 500. And in this 6 months, they didn't. And sometimes people want to, the housing market is up. And that year it isn't. You start noticing, if you look at things over time, they wind up aligning and looking very similar to this roller coaster ride you're looking at right here. So really, it starts getting into when did you get in?
Right.
No different than double Dutch.
Real quick, Brother Coke. Salute to Brother Black Laren for checking in, man. Brother Black Laren, you had a little extra noise when I got you on. Can you make sure you clear that up, and then you got the floor, sir. Salute to Brother Black Laren for checking in.
What's good, gentlemen? Is the background noise cleared up?
Oh, you're good. You're good. What's going on, Black Laren? Black Laren came up to the stage and let us know, ain't nobody falling asleep here. I see that line.
Exactly. I appreciate this talk on crypto, because there's so much smoke surrounding it, and it's going to be in the headlines even more so with the Trump presidency. So I'm really just tapping in. So I'm looking forward to hearing what else you guys have to say about crypto and how it can positively or negatively impact our communities.
No doubt. Salute to you, Brother Black Laren. Well, we've been in here going on almost 3 hours, sir, but
but he came in at the good part, though. I'll tell you that much. The first thing I want to know, though, is that what's the one question Black Laren's got about crypto? Any question, and let's hash it out, man. What's the one question that you got?
Can we build legitimate industries off of cryptocurrencies?
Well, watch this.
Withstand volatility.
Well, watch this. I like how you said withstand volatility, because if you notice, Chef, he didn't say volatility is a bad thing. It's just being able to weather that roller coaster and making sure, Black Laren, like you got your seatbelt on when it bottom out, or else you don't want to be on a roller coaster when it's going down without your seatbelt on, right? But I don't think anybody want to be on that thing with a harness on. But if you got your harness on, it might be a little fun as long as you get off at the right time. Now, as far as building the industries, that's what we're doing now, I would say. First, whenever there's anything new, you have to have education, knowledge, an adoption process, if you will. And I would say that that's the time when the most tomfoolery and clownness starts popping out. And I think we've seen that maybe over like the past decade and such. That's expected. It's not something that's specific to crypto. What I would say as far as the industry changing, I'd say it already has. Because if you think about it right now, you can go on Cash App right now, buy a few Satoshi, and just send them to your niece or your nephew or your friend or something like that right across the wire. It's directly peer-to-peer. You're not going through PayPal, and the person receiving it doesn't have to worry about their PayPal account getting shut down because they don't know who that transaction is and all of that stuff. No, they're just going to walk away and say, thanks, whoever you are. So I'd say, I think that that's flipping the banking, not the banking industry, because then you start putting the targets on banks, and I think that's dangerous for us to do, is to actually put targets on banks. To be clear, it's more about having an alternative to what you would use a bank for. And if you look at it that way, I say we're already going on the road. Does that make sense? What's your thoughts on that, family?
It definitely makes sense. I'm just curious on whether or not, really where crypto is going to, what space is it going to fill in the future? Because, our traditional currencies are not going anywhere. So it seems like the most ideal situation for crypto is that it's just another, it's a valuable digital asset that we have available to us.
Yeah, and it's a storage of value, nothing more. Like a lot of people don't know, Bitcoin, and particularly Bitcoin in specific, unlike Ethereum, Bitcoin's nice and stupid, just like how I like gold. Gold does not have to be smart to me. It just has to be dumb and sit there for a very long time, not lose itself. Its value really is just its ability to sit there and be shiny. You can use it on tools. So it has utility. So what we're talking about is, what's the utility of that thing? I'd say the utility of the shit coins, I'll say that, they have no utility. And I think that they're a detriment to the community. The utility of something like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum, Bitcoin is a phenomenal storage of value, in my opinion. And Ethereum, which is where I think a lot of what you're talking about is going to happen in that space, only due to the ability to have an infinite amount of smart contracts. And Chef was waking that up before. See, the thing is like, you don't want to use a screwdriver as a hammer, and you don't want to use a hammer as a screwdriver. A lot of people want Bitcoin to be a lot more than what it is. And to me, I always tell them, I'm like, all Bitcoin is for me is to just get some and sit on it for some time, and then just play double dutch and figure out when I want to get out. And there's multiple opportunities to get out, and they happen every 4 years. So anyone that tries to go again, what'd you say?
I think you put that pretty well. And I think there's the issue that I've been hearing is just a lot of misconceptions about the practicality and the realistic nature of a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. I think that people dress it as something that it's not. If they put on makeup on Bitcoin, when really, like you just mentioned, it's a really valuable digital asset that people can use and leverage to ultimately make money in the future, or hold and then make money when they want to come out of it.
There you go. All of the things. See what he said, Chef? Bitcoin, the smartest thing you could do with Bitcoin is get some and sit on it. That's literally the smartest thing that you could do with blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain, is get some and sit on it. Ethereum's a lyric, yeah. Heavy pause.
Yeah.
Whoa. Now, Ethereum, on the other hand, that's where I want to see the real innovation. That like, you talking that innovation talk, I think that to ask that of Bitcoin would be like asking gold to be a rocket ship. It kind of just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you? I heard this quote once. It said, if you take a fish out of water and put it next to a tree and judge that fish's ability to by how well it can climb trees, you're gonna meet a lot of stupid fish. Why put a fish next to a tree and judge it by how well it can climb a tree? That's not what it's there for. And a lot, like to your point, a lot of people dress things around Bitcoin up to be related to Bitcoin, and I don't know, maybe saying something. It's the future. It'll be our savior. It's the next Jesus Christ, even. No,
exactly.
And that has
rhetoric.
Yes, and and the crazy part is that has nothing to do with the blockchain. Oh, the exchanges are charging so much money per transaction. That's not Bitcoin's fault. That's more Cash's fault, actually.
I like
So
that delineation.
yeah, so the innovation I want to see in Ethereum, me personally, only due to the ability of just what's the possibilities of having digital smart contracts that are privatized, can't be tampered with, interfered, or messed around with. That's a nice space that a lot of development can be done on. I mean, they're already doing real estate contracts with Ethereum smart contracts while having the storage of value that you would exchange for a deed. That's where the Bitcoin comes in. What's the actual contractual agreement in passing on that property? That's where things like smart contracts come in. So I kind of see a world where both of them have their usage, but they're not interchangeable really. Like Bitcoin to me is like, grandma keeping a safe underneath the mattress and she checks on it once a year and all. That's what Bitcoin is more the space for. And if you don't have the time, then don't get into it.
What about XRP and HRP? What are those? Are those also cryptocurrencies or
They are. Okay. They are. They're all cryptocurrencies.
I've been hearing some things about that.
Right. So here's a quick lesson in what to do with all the other coins that are not Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just ask one question. What problem does it solve? If you don't know the answer to that question, run away. Because that coin has zero utility value. So Chef C, the Hot Tool Girl coin. You know what the utility and value of her coin was, Chef?
A nigga's imagination. That's all.
That she was the one pumping it. That's it. That was the value. That was the value. What's the value of Bitcoin? You can use it as a digital replacement for gold. Something that you just sit on and just wait until you get a price that you like. What's the value of Ethereum? I don't know. What can you do with smart contracts? What's the value of Venezuelan banana coin? I don't know. It claims it keeps track of bananas being grown in Venezuela. It's at zero today. You can look it up on the exchange.
Right. So I mean, so this is why I don't know when you came in, Brother Black Laren, but that's why I said like when I was comparing it to the Hawk Tui chick and even some of those useless NFTs. Okay.
Oh, the NFT, that NFT run was crazy.
It was crazy.
People just overlooked that, but people made a lot of money, and then a lot of people lost a bunch of money too.
A bunch of money.
And that's really what you're saying.
But look at the diagram, though. This is what I'm saying. Let's go back to the diagram we're looking at. We're talking about the exchange or adjustment in energy and flow of people. What is, this stuff, especially when you're talking about these little baby coins and even those NFTs, it was about the generated excitement, the cosmetic excitement behind whatever that NFT was connected to.
That's it. Nothing more.
If you didn't have excitement, next to the proximity of whatever that NFT was rolling off of, nobody got no real motion.
Now here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part, Chef C. NFTs actually do have a pretty good utility value. It's just that I don't think that the world is ready for that usage just yet. You'll see NFTs pop up again. And what's the utility value of NFTs? An NFT, the problem it solves is using smart contracts to replace things like the United States Patent and Trademark Office, to use smart contracts to replace things like the copyright system and keep that on a blockchain. your copyright would then be on the blockchain. Someone might say, well, how do I know it's mine? That's what the private keys are for. You have private keys to that block that claims your intellectual property rights and is forever baked in the blockchain as long as the internet works. That's a pretty good utility, I would say. The problem is people just started using it to put a bunch of JPEG images of some really crappy pixel art onto it. Got a whole bunch of celebrities to start pumping their version of what an NFT is. Right. Nobody ever used the actual system to do things like, I don't know, that Hot 16 you just wrapped. Take the copyright information, all of the secret bits and stuff, put that on the blockchain, do a smart contract that anybody that buys it gets a discount, however you set the contract up. No one was using the technology. They were only purchasing the coins, hopefully that they can shill them off onto someone else for more than they got it for. We've all gotten bitten by that bug. That's all that was. So people aren't even using the technology behind NFTs. That's the reason why everything happened and was what happened to it. The NFT blockchain is still there. It's just the price that people are willing to invest into that blockchain is no longer there for now. So that's what's going on. See, that's the thing I like about this whole crypto stuff is that the price could go down to whatever the hell it wants to from 0 to 100 real quick. The technology, as long as the internet's up, it's still working.
I love that. Well, Brother Black Learn, man, I want to thank you for tapping in, man. Any other question you got for brother Coach Sharpton, man?
Yeah, I got one more. With the moving forward, how do you think the technology behind the internet is going to evolve, and how will these cryptocurrencies now get integrated into the new internet?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I like to just look at that little graph. I mean, that little curve we got there on the screen right there, that sine wave. There's another one we could look at. Hey, Chef, what's that price now? You want to refresh the page? What are we at now? So people could just see that it's not flat line. Watch it be in the 4s, 9, 4. See, it done moved around $1,500 while we've been on this call. Now the thing is, did the person get in when it was 99,000, or what was it, 96? That was something like 95.9, right, Chef? Or did the person get in when the price is now? See, because what would have happened if we were to walk it down while Chef and I were on the line? We refreshed the page and it went up $500. That's where the emotions start kicking in. Oh, I got to get in. The price is going up. Most people get in high and sell low. That's a problem. That's the fastest way to lose money. And so basically, yes, most people get in high and sell low. They swear for Lord they're going to get in low and sell when it's at the peak. If you really were going to do that, you'd be a day trader professionally. If you're not a day trader, even a professional day trader will tell you, good luck. They spend billions of dollars trying to figure out that algorithm. But it does happen because it's humans behind it. Now, and that's why it's important to not have a price make you emotional. I like to do what's called dollar cost averaging. If someone were to say, what's a default strategy for me? Like, forget about the industry's Black Laird. What about you? Like, what's something that's feasible for you for the rest of your life? And that's what it really should be about. And so I typically tell folk dollar cost averaging. But before we get to the dollar cost averaging, Chef, I'm going to show you a chart. We're going to break down the dollar cost averaging, and we're pretty much done here. So that price, as you see, it keeps changing every time you refresh the daggone page. What we want to do is, if you look at that, there should be some type of graph that's underneath there that shows you the movement of today. You see where it says day, week, month, year? Why don't you click on that max button that's up above the graph? See, it defaults to, so there's max. When does it start? You have a start at 2014. Wow. So they're not even tracking back to 2008. That's crazy. That's amazing. Let's go to what can we look at? Coin market cap. We'll go over to coin market cap because this isn't enough cycles. Coinmarketcap.com. That's a site that I use when I say, look, what's going on with every single coin. I'm sure there's better ones out there, but what I've been using for like 6 or 7 years is called Coin Market Cap, CAP. Did you get that, Chef?
Oh, pardon me, I was on mute, man. Real quick, I'm gonna say salute to Big Meech for checking in. I see you, fam. Also, there's a question for Sister Vina in there. While I look this up and find it, could you answer that question for Sister Vina?
Absolutely, and then I'm glad she asked it on the right time. We're gonna get the answer. If you go to Coin Market Cap, that'll help answer the question. It'll give me an alley oop at least for her. The first thing you're gonna want to do, I like to make it even simpler than simple. What are the coins or the question that you need to have answered, I would guess, is what are the coins that I even want to exchange between each other? Chances are you looked at the coin, you've been watching it for a while, you like what's going on with it. We want to make sure it's like, how did you get that information? And that's what I use a site like Coin Market Cap for. It basically is an overview of all of the coins at the same time and such, to kind of tells you what they're all doing, and it's free. And it's pretty up to date too. That'll at least tell you what the coins are doing. The issue when it comes into altcoins that are not Bitcoin and Ethereum, the more you get away from Bitcoin and Ethereum, the more you got to start jumping through hoops on trying to figure out, well, what exchange offers this coin? What exchange offers that coin? This is what happens when you get the notifications from, say, a Coinbase that says, oh, Coinbase just listed XRP, Black Larry. They did that maybe a few years ago. What they do is the big boys sit around and wait to see if there's any motion on the smaller coins. And the ones that there is the most motion on, they start offering them on their exchanges. If it's a smaller coin that has that high volatility everyone's looking for, it's a little bit more difficult to bounce back and forth in between coins. But to give you a good start off point, Vina, I would say you want to be in Ethereum if you're on the side of I want to bounce in between from coin to coin to coin. So one strategy I've seen some people use is you go out and hang out with Ethereum in the streets during the day, but you always bring it back home to Bitcoin Mama at night.
Okay. And salute to our brother Black Laren. He's running right now, but salute, we got his answers, his questions answered.
Absolutely.
And
so Chef C, what's some of the higher coins on here? Because you know me, I like Bitcoin. I'm learning with you on this one. What looks good as of this moment in time right now? What do they got on the list for Vina over here and me?
Is there more, or is this what do I find?
They usually do the top 10. You're probably staring at the top 10 right now. They'll have something like that. There's thousands of coins, so I think there's 15,000 as of today, Vina. Coins, that is.
All right, so Bitcoin is Bitcoin is at 90, still at 94.
Bitcoin's number one, huh?
Ethereum pulling up pulling up on the second with 3,000 and some change. Damn, Bitcoin is really cooking these niggas. Damn. You know what that is? It's that sit effect. Pause. It's the
Okay, from Litecoin to Bitcoin, Vina says, I bet you Coinbase will get that one off for you. And before Coinbase, I actually prefer Kraken. But your Coinbase Kraken, that level, they'll definitely be able to handle a Litecoin to Bitcoin pair. And they call them pairs because you need two different currencies to make an exchange. So the pair that Vina's looking for is LTC to BTC. That means she's got Litecoin and trying to convert it into Bitcoin. And that's a nice move too. See, this is the part, this is when people start disappearing, Chef, that move that like Venus, not that Venus disappear, but this is really where you start seeing the power of the blockchain. Notice she said from Litecoin to Bitcoin. She didn't say from Litecoin to cash and from cash to Bitcoin. You don't need that middle step.
Wow, look what's happening, y'all. I hope y'all see this on this end here. This is good stuff here.
So Chef, can you click on that Bitcoin chart there? And can you go to max? You see it done drop down some more. I don't know. If you go to max on the listing, it should be a max similar to before. If you see up there, it'll say to 1 day, 1 month. Probably on the top right somewhere. Do you see a max? You had it up there on the top right of the chart.
No, there's no max on this particular page, but there is a max.
Yeah, if you scroll up some, there should be a max. It'll say 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, up around there to the top right of the chart. You see, does it say max?
No max.
All time?
Say all.
Yes. Does that number start off with 2008, 2009, around there? That's the question.
All right, let's go down and see.
Over on the left of that chart. Does it say it starts around 2008, 9-ish?
212. This is 212.
That's good enough. So what you're seeing there is, it looks like stair steps almost, doesn't it?
Agreed.
There's a thing this is the last thing, and this is very important, and this is how I am actually choosing to invest for the rest of my life. And this should hopefully help some people out there that's looking to try to figure out, well, how do I get in and get out of the double dutch? And I'm only specifically speaking towards Bitcoin, but this does happen with Ethereum and therefore other coins as well. To your point, with using the gold standard, pun intended. Every 4 years, there's this concept called the halving. And what the halving means is it's actually programmed in the code of Bitcoin. And it says that every 4 years at a particular date, it will make the difficulty it takes for a miner to use their system to create blocks on the blockchain, they double every 4 years. So in other words, if it takes a certain level of effort to mine for a block, it's going to take twice as much effort in 4 years. And 4 years after that, it's going to take twice as much effort. That's actually a gamification that was put into the system. And what that chart creates is called demand. So you know enough about economics to know when the demand is high, but the supply is low, what happens to the price?
Demand is high, price is low.
No, the demand is high and the supply is super low.
Oh, well, you gotta raise that price, my guy.
That's what's happening to the Bitcoin price every 4 years, right at election time, since 2008. And that is what will happen with Bitcoin for as long as the internet is up. Every 4 years, the price will go up and have a new high every 4 years. Every 4 years is a halving cycle. What that means, what happens in that 4 years, the price goes up for 2 years, goes down for 2 years. The next cycle, it goes up even higher and goes down, not lower, but it has lower lows. So every 4 years, it creates like a stair step pattern where you have higher highs and lower lows. A lot of people think that that's the people that's moving that system. That part, it's not actually. That's programmed into the blockchain. I'm going to repeat that again. This price you see that goes up and down every 4 years, just like that sine wave did, that's actually programmed into, it's baked into the cake. So what that creates is it creates a demand. Every 4 years, it becomes twice as more difficult as it was the previous 4 years to even get your hands on a Satoshi. And don't believe me, look at the actual price line that you're staring at in front of your face right now over the past 12 years. And you'll see it every 4 years around election time, price goes up. 2 years after that, price drops down. 2 years after that, price goes up higher than it did the last 4 years. You see the patterns now, Chef?
No, I'm just looking at it, man. I mean, there's so many similarities when if you compare it to the actual stock market. However, we to a degree we're looking at more of a living organism than the stock market.
Correct. Correct, sir.
That's organism with quotation marks, y'all.
But the thing that's beautiful about it is it's programmed into the system. So people want you to predict stuff in the future. And I tell them the only thing I can predict in the future is how frequently blocks will come out of the ground, quote unquote, from miners mining. So I can't tell you what the price of a Bitcoin will be in 100 years, but I will tell you that the last Bitcoin will be mined in 100 years. You can set your clock to it because it's programmed into the system that every 4 years, you have to make the system twice as difficult to get a Bitcoin than it was 4 years ago. So what that means in English, I'd say maybe in my lifetime, a Bitcoin will probably be $1 million at the current rate that it's going in. So some people see that
in our lifetime, yes, sir. Yes,
so some people look at that number and say 95,000. I ain't got that. That's when I tell them, you just take $5, go to Cash App, Chef. That's what you tell them. And you know what? If Bitcoin doubles, guess what? Your $5 is now $10. If Bitcoin drops 50%, guess what? Your $5 is now $2.50. If you sell it, my question then would be, why would you sell something that you got at $5 at $2.50? You don't lose money if you don't sell. Hint, hint. Wait. So when you see those dips on that chart right there, I was holding on for dear life. Most people were selling. I was like, why would I sell? Why would I not buy more? I actually believe in this thing. So you get the cheapest Bitcoin when the price is bottoming out. You get the most expensive Bitcoin, at least this cycle, now. That's not saying don't get involved in it. What I'm saying is anyone that would get involved in the Bitcoin now, be able to sit and ride this one out for a little bit, because this time next year, it'll probably be on its way down again, but it's only going down so it can go back up again 2 years after that. And I'd say the next go around, it might hit $200,000, $300,000, $400,000. I don't feel.
And hold on, brother Coke. Let's show them that through this chart here. We're 2011, right? We're showing them. We can show them here.
You can actually mark the peaks around presidential election cycles, sir. That's programmed into the blockchain too. So it's less of a Trump thing and more of a, damn, that was some coincidental timing with that one. Because I bet you if you look at 2000, there was a peak when Biden got in office too.
So yeah, y'all, based off what we're looking at here, right? Check this out. Let's go 2018, right? 2018 price 6,450. So that's 2018. Let's go over a little bit here. Let's go 2020. All right. So we 6,000, but it went up maybe 2,000. Now we're coming into the next, but that is presidential. We're looking at the presidential terms.
Right.
So that's
the cycles are every 4. The cycles are every 4 years. 2 years up, 2 years down. That's the curve.
So right here we're looking at the Biden administration. Right. Look at this. Hold on. Biden administration, we were at 8,000 and some change. Right. Going to his midterms. Family, let's go to his midterm. See what his midterm look like. So his midterms kept going up, but that had a lot to do with other factors.
I bet you when you hit around 2021 or 2022, it dropped down. It'll drop down to 16.
It dropped to 18.
It was 16 in February. It was 16 in February. You just are on the wrong month. That was the bottom. It was 16 in February.
16. Boom. You're absolutely right, y'all.
Did I call it or what?
He's absolutely right, y'all. We're talking now. We know Biden got in there 2020, right? We got to the midterm area. The 16 is bottomed out again. He's on his way up out of here. Let's go to the 2024, family. Let's go to 2024. We can follow it. It's up. No,
and you'll see that, Chef. You'll see this pattern since 2008. And by the way, Chef, you can set your clock to this pattern for the rest of your life and your children's.
That's crazy. That's amazing to some degree. This is why I say, y'all, we can even same with the stock. Have patience. That's my point, Sister Vina. The stock market and crypto have so many similarities, but again, when I talk about you want to stack your stuff on cryptocurrencies equivalent of the S&P 500, we just showed you why. We just showed you why, y'all. Okay.
Yeah, Chef. Anybody getting in now, I would tell them, sure, get in. Even though it's peaking out, getting closer to the peak than away from the peak. This current cycle's peak is supposed to be between summer, mid-year 2025 and September. And then after that, expect it to be on the downward trajectory for 2 years. You're staring at the chart. The chart's telling you exactly what it does. It'll be on a downward trajectory. That's usually when people start freaking out. I'm losing everything and start selling everything. That's when people should be buying the most, actually. See, some reason people start coming around when the price is up. They should be coming around when the price is at 16, not 95. But I'm glad you're here. And so it'll drop down. But as we talked about before, Chef, it's like a basketball bouncing on the moon. It'll have higher highs and lower lows every cycle. So essentially, if the high this cycle, which we don't know yet, I didn't even think it was going to kiss 100,000, but now since all of those Wall Street guys are in it, I guess that's what kicked it over. Because Bitcoin likes to troll. I thought Bitcoin was going to do something like get to 99,995, and then it starts dropping down. But it did crack 6 figures, so that's interesting. However, Wall Street can't control something that's globally decentralized. So the system is going to system. And this is a system we have more control over or as much as they do, as opposed to a system where they only have the control. What will happen, no matter how many billions of dollars these Wall Street folk put into it, the curve will be on its way down. It'll have a lower low. So the last low you said, Chef, I think it was 16,000 in February. I'd assume the next cycle, The next low will probably be $30,000 to $50,000, and then the next high it'll probably be $300,000 to $500,000, something like that. It's like a basketball bouncing on the moon. It will go up for 2 years. It will go down for 2 years. That's okay. But there's a lot of people that's going to get in today, and when it starts dropping down, and going to get out this time next year, and they'll have gotten in at 100 and get out at like $70 and be like, I ain't messing with this crypto stuff. What they don't realize is you got on the roller coaster when it was at the top of the hill, when you should be getting on the roller coaster on the safe side when everybody's at the bottom of the hill. But for people who dollar cost average, meaning you only invest what you can on a continuous cycle, even if it's $3 a week. Every paycheck I put $5 away. Cool. Every month I put $50 into it. Cool. Do it continuously. When the price is high, you'll get less. When the price is low, you'll get more. The point is you're always getting using an amount that won't mess with your life if you were to lose it. And that's the most important part. That's my investment strategy for the rest of my life, at least.
Well, I tell you what, Brother Coke, this was phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get ready to shut this thing down. I am glad that you put me onto this freaking coin market cap. I didn't know anything about this shit. But it makes me, it gives me a little more confidence in the way I invest with crypto now. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all should definitely feel free to check these kind of things out yourselves. Make the adjustment in the way you deem necessary, y'all. Okay? Even if you want to pick some of those certain exchanges, man, just make sure that you are retaining as much of that benefit or profit that you can. Because in this case, those exchanges work as the middle guy. They got to get a cut. So, if you can avoid that, try. And for those that are curious, if you got Cash App, that would be my number one recommendation as a place to start. If you want to do it, go through the Cash App. It's a lot easier to make those transactions or those purchases.
Right, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum. But if you don't mind, Chef, real quick on your last Google search here, can you just Google real quick? This is for Vina. Got to show some love to Vina for riding through. The Google search is going to be Litecoin to Bitcoin Coinbase, because a lot of times you just don't know what you don't know. Because I had to check on it myself. I knew that Coinbase had Litecoin because I think I picked up some Litecoin on Coinbase back in like 2017. I think it was Coinbase or Kraken. It was one of the exchanges. I know it wasn't Binance. But I just checked, and yes, Coinbase does have Litecoin. And if you could search there, Chef, it says Litecoin to Bitcoin and the word Coinbase.
Let me see. Litecoin to Bitcoin.
LITE.
Is this what you're looking for here? I'm a little.
Absolutely. It says Litecoin to Bitcoin, Coinbase yes, Litecoin to Bitcoin and the word Coinbase. It should be the first link that pops up.
This one?
Let's see here.
Slow moment here. Hold on. Let me see. Convert Litecoin to Bitcoin Coinbase. This one.
Yep. Should say swap.
Here you go.
So I'll let you, Chef, break down the Vina. What do we got here for? What's our question? How can you convert from one coin to another, from Litecoin to Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
Seems like Coinbase does offer it, right?
It does. Coinbase offers it also. So you just would put that. Oh, yeah, just plug it in. Plug your address. Well, maybe plug your address. Let me see. Buy Bitcoin. Let me see. Bang. Let me see. Oh, you could do it all here. This is it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is it. You can do it all here.
And vice versa.
And
I
vice
bet you.
versa. Look at the
I bet
reverse.
you.
Look at the
Yep.
reverse. Bang.
There's got to be a vice versa pair.
Okay. Look at that. Bang. 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 Okay. So yeah, just plug it in here. Address. I think. Okay. So we'll follow that. You follow that through. Let me see. Yeah. This is an address. I think this is an address. Take that. Put it in here. And switch it back. Okay, this is it. Yeah, this is how you do that one. But let me make sure though, sir. Let me make sure though. If she has Litecoin already, she's just gonna put her amount of Litecoin into this space.
Right, and when she actually gets into her account that shows the Litecoin, it'll give options like, do you want $5 worth of Litecoin transferred over? Because as you see, they're still pegging everything towards the US dollar. When Bitcoin hits around $1 million, not if, but when, I do believe it's not a matter of if, it's when. That's when all of a sudden they'll stop pegging it to the US dollar and start saying, like how Coinbase is, I'm looking at here, they'll say Litecoin to LTC to BTC, and they just tell you what the conversion rate is in BTC. That's how you know that it's actually traction being made. They start relying less and less on USD conversion. And so what I like about this tells me the conversion as well. It says one Litecoin is 0.001 BTC. And somebody might, those are just relative numbers too. And who's to say that you even have a whole Litecoin? See, that's the one thing that people have to get out of their head, is that you don't have to have an entire coin of anything. You just get fractions of it. Remember the Goldschlager bottle? You can just get little shavings of Bitcoin. They call them Satoshi. They're even smaller than the gold in a Goldschlager bottle.
So we're in the event somebody's plugging this stuff in here. You start here. All right. Never mind. Never mind. Good money. Okay, we're good here.
But I'm glad Vina asked that question, because for the folk that are out there really thugging it out up out in the Wild Wild West with all of the coins, what you want them to do, sometimes the exchange doesn't directly handle random coin to USD conversion. So sometimes you might have to go from that coin to that coin over there, and now I'm in BTC or Ethereum, and now I can offload my ramp onto USD. And here come the tax man, because the tax man's always there when you convert to USD. I think he should end it on that one, Chef. Yes. See, all of these questions and issues that we discuss really should be asked on the actual money we use today. None of this is BTC's problem.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. I'll say with this. I'll leave it with that. You know what? I'm gonna leave it with that, man. Let's stop this.
Yeah. What did you learn, Chef? What's your takeaway for you, sir?
Well, no. I mean, listen again. For me, the most important thing that was shared today with me was believe it or not, was the fucking coin market cap, and it gives me some to a degree, predictability of when I should be buying, not selling, buying.
Right.
And that's really all that matters to me. So I'm gonna let this administration do what it's gonna do coming in, but you better bet your ass at the mid term, I will be buying some more crypto.
Well, the people who are losing their shirt are going to have to sell it to somebody, and I think you're a great candidate to be there for some cheap coins.
Yeah.
Until then, enjoy the roller coaster ride, and dollar cost average in, especially when it's high like it is now. If you got a big bag, a whole big bag of $100, break that down into 10 transactions of $10.
Yep. I will say this, ladies and gentlemen. you'd like to see part 2 of this, which you may more than likely see at some point anyway, leave some comments in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who are catching the replay, also feel free to leave some comments in here. Let us know some of the questions that you would like answered on part 2. This was just a little introductory. We showed you guys what the blockchain is. We broke that down. We let you know what the mining when it comes to this crypto game is all about, what those miners do. We also touched on how you can do your market oversight via coin market cap, just to keep yourself up to speed. Coinmarketcap.com. Keep yourself up to speed, and some projected buying opportunities there. We can also plan it around election seasons, ladies and gentlemen. We know what's coming in, so we can be prepared to do that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. Brother Coke, any last words, sir? And we're going to get ready to shut this thing down.
Yeah, I have nothing more than thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It was I learned a bunch myself too as well, and I'm glad that we had it as more like a fireside chat, just sitting around, just talking, kicking ideas around. Nobody had to go and buy some course. This was all just a. This is all just what is the thing that I'm actually even thinking about putting money into. That's it.
Right. And that's a fact. Salute to Brother Coke Sharpton for checking in, a.k.a. DevPunks. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for checking in with us in here today. One of those broadcasts. So, again, more opportunity zones are coming down the pipeline, ladies and gentlemen. More opportunity zones are coming down the pipeline. And you want to be ahead of the game. Hit the lick, as they say. All right? Stock market is going to be jumping. We will have the Jersey General back in for part 2 later on. And, of course, we'll have our brother here, Brother DevPunk, back in for part 2 of crypto. But I would just want everybody to be aware that there are opportunities that you can and should take advantage of next year or even this upcoming administration. You have the opportunity to change your current situation with a little bit of patience, y'all, and discipline. All right? So to be clear with that, I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. Make sure you don't forget to go ahead over and become a member of the Patreon.
Hey, Chef C, would you mind if I gave the last listeners a little bit of homework?
Go ahead.
Find the nearest exchange that you feel like you don't mind signing up with. You might already have one, say your Cash App. Don't go out there and blow a bag of $20. Oh, you a high roller, you got $20 to throw on this stuff. Oh, you got $50? Oh, you doing too much now. Go to your exchange, find the smallest amount that exchange will let you make a transfer or make a purchase of cryptocurrency with. And here's why it's the smallest amount. Number one, it'll give you confidence and not have that price of one whole Bitcoin scare you away. And number two, it's going to really give you insight to what the exchange is charging you to do that transaction. I bet you it'll be under, I was going to say $5. I bet it'll be under 10 though. Find out the smallest transfer, the smallest transaction that you can do on an exchange, and enjoy that. Enjoy that. Probably one of the wisest investments you ever did. And it'll probably cost you less than a meal at McDonald's. And I land.
No doubt. Salute the brother Dev, a.k.a. Coke Sharpton. Ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned, make sure you go over to that Patreon, become a member, Cooking with Chef C on patreon.com. And I also want to send a major thank you to everybody that does continue to support the program. If you're catching the playback, remember to hit the Cash App, $FTS49, or the Vimeo at From the Soil to continue to keep the kitchen open. We appreciate y'all support in advance. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, in a system of white degeneracy, you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. I'm your host, Chef C from New Jersey, and I'm out of here. Salute to everybody that's checked in.